This is always so exciting. And we're live.
Hey guys, welcome to the weekly poll. As usual, I don't have my comic books handy, but I have a bunch of trades. So we're gonna go Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Miss Marvel, Low is upside down, Wonder Woman, Wayward's upside down, and Rage of Ultron. All right, that's all I got.
Rage of Ultron.
I'm Benny, the comic historian. That is Sal from TV Little House, also known as Comic Pop now. That is Faust from It's Super Effective. That is Rob from Comics Explained thingy. That is the goat head known as Mr. Sunday. And that is Joel from Comic Book Cast. For the record, Mr. Sunday is our actual guest. Joel just kind of showed up on our front door. So
yeah, it happens. It's how I got my other job on the other podcast. I figure if I just start showing up enough, they'll be too polite to ask me to leave.
Oh no, I'll tell you. Get the hell out, Joel. Get the hell out.
Okay.
No, don't go.
Oh god, that is the loudest commercial ever on YouTube. The Van Halen one just kicked up on my.
Wait, what Van Halen commercial? What are they selling?
I don't know. It's a Van Halen commercial. It just jumped in. Van Halen live on tour.
God, that would be a train wreck. Oh yeah.
I like Van Halen, man, not Van Hagar.
Oh my god.
For a second, I thought you meant like Van Helsing, and I was like,
okay, everyone
Van
like the
Helsing?
goat to stop facing them. So you need to turn the goat around, Mr. Sunday.
Turn the goat around.
Yeah, the goat for your image. Your image is a goat.
It's your goat head. All right, guys. Today's topics are three biggies. Today we're going to be talking about Convergence because Zero came out. And we got a whole bunch of issues coming out tomorrow. We're going to give our theories, our thoughts as to what's going on with that. We're also going to talk about the Daredevil show, what our favorite stories for Daredevil are, what our channels are going to be doing for Daredevil, what's happening with Daredevil. I know Mr. Sunday's got a whole bunch of videos about Daredevil, so he can fill us in on all the Netflix goodiness that we don't know. And then we're probably going to talk about why me and Faust love Hugh Jackman, and we're going to miss him. So.
Let's do it.
Like, that's going to be a really one-sided conversation.
I mean, this is. I don't know what to say to something like that.
Hey, I like him too, but I mean, like, the X-Men series is never going to evolve or change while he sticks around, so I mean...
Yeah.
So let's start with Hugh Jackman. Since I just threw all out there and the awkward silence happened.
Done and done.
You get the awkward face from Faust of, wait, what?
I mean, I want short, sort of stumpy, really, really hairy Wolverine.
Sure. Like, I'm all for that. Who do you get though? Like who's
who's
it has to be someone new.
Just
right?
a no-name. There are lots of actors out there that are really good that we haven't heard of. I mean, Game of Thrones got a bunch of no-names in, and they were amazing. So I don't see why we just couldn't do that.
Great Wolverine.
And also, if this no-name became Wolverine, then we wouldn't say, oh, that's Hugh Jackman as Wolverine or whatever. We'd say, that is Wolverine.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, they would become, like, I've been saying that's what they should be doing for these superheroes anyway, because they're icons, and we shouldn't be saying, oh, that's such and such A-list celebrity as this character.
We could ruin their lives and pigeonhole them into that one role forever.
It's a costume.
Like Adam West.
Yeah,
I
like Mark
truly
Hamill.
believe in this modern-day movie age, it's the costumes that sell the movies, not the actors who are wearing the costume.
Absolutely. We look at the Judge, Robert Downey Jr. Like nobody saw that.
No.
Like, you know.
True.
But if it was Iron Man, you know, defends his dad who murdered somebody or whatever that movie was about, then
Does he wear armor in this one? No.
I don't.
So it's like Iron Man 3. Okay, no then.
Well, you know, to kind of go with that whole thing. I mean, Robert Downey Jr. goes on doing all kinds of charities and everything because he's still trying to clean up his image from when he was a bad boy, you know?
Yeah.
And you never hear about any of them. The only ones you ever hear about is Robert Downey Jr. showed up and gave a Iron Man-looking prosthetic arm to a little boy. It's like, you are aware that he did, like, 5 other things this month, but that's the one we're going to focus on because it involves Iron Man.
Yeah.
Do you think Robert Downey Jr. would have been hired if Disney owned Marvel first? Because they have a strict, like, no criminals policy.
Yeah,
And I think the only one that got through was Tim Allen, who was in jail for cocaine distribution or something, and Tom Hanks murdered a man.
Yeah,
but no, I didn't.
I mean, like, the fact is, Robert Downey Jr. got clean before. It wasn't like Iron Man cleaned him up. He'd cleaned up before Iron Man, so I think they would have let him go. I think they would have let him have it. Tim Allen sold cocaine.
I mean, Marvel kind of are, well, not Marvel, Sony kind of are hiring, not even Sony, Fox are kind of are hiring no names because of this woman that plays Jubilee. I kind of looked at her and went, who the hell are you?
Yeah.
And then moved on. But then I was like, hey, Jubilee in a movie, good character.
She's been in. She was in 2 X-Men movies, played by 2 totally different actors each time.
Yeah, but this
completely disparaging ethnicities and ages.
But
And
this time
sometimes
she
she's on the cutting
speaks
room
outside
floor.
of a deleted scene.
It's really,
There you go.
But
Oh,
does
what a
she-
deleted
does
scene.
Does she only show up on July 3rd and she's off of the movie by July 5th?
That's what needs to happen. Like Jubilee needs to have a cameo, and like she just needs to show up where everybody's like hanging out, and like they're like, man, like we don't have any fireworks, and Jubilee's like, hey, I can save the day, and so she just like shoots fireworks into the sky, and like that's her role, and that's it.
How long until
Faust
she
is like
becomes a
getting defeated
vampire?
every time we crack jokes about the firework Jubilee. He's just like, stop, do it, Faust, do it, leave Jubilee alone.
Not until I'm drunk.
no, okay. Here's the deal.
Step away for half an hour, get drunk, come back. Like that's I want to see that.
Like here was
know
the deal.
what?
Okay, so like a new X-Men, Emma Frost was like, hey, I'm just gonna like jump into people's bodies and control their abilities and like just push them to the limit, whatever. She took over like Jubilee's body and she was like, hey guys, like she has potential to be really powerful. She can like detonate matter on a subatomic scale, and no one cared. People were just
No.
like, so?
everyone just focused on her ability to change Iceman and make him all cool. Oh, that's right. That's right. Iceman, though.
Okay, but at least you can admit Dazzler is cool when the writer has the right imagination to use her powers properly.
Dazzler
Like
turns
sending
she
her back
turns,
to the
like,
1970s to fight vampires with Deadpool?
Yeah, that
Yes.
one. I was thinking that one too.
Yay.
Yeah.
Like sending her back to the 1980s, taking away the limit on her power and making her the Herald of Galactus.
That was
Okay.
So
That
basically,
happened?
she's only good when it's just a off-the-wall story.
Like, they made her president in like an alternate future of Uncanny X-Men. It's like, and now introducing President Dazzler.
Yeah.
Did she like
but they
skate
did
out?
that just to set up to shit on her
Yeah.
once again.
You're right.
okay.
You're right. You're totally
Okay. Here's my question. All right. So Mr. Sunday Movies.
Sure.
Would like
Let's make
Dazzler or Jubilee be like reason enough for you to go would that draw you to go see an X-Men movie? Would you be like, oh my god, like Jubilee is going to be in the new X-Men
No,
film? Like, I gotta go
absolutely
see it.
not.
Oh my god.
Like I'm saying, look, I'm the kind of person obviously that would see that regardless, but that doesn't add or lessen anything. That's just a thing that's happening, and it's fine, whatever. Or if it didn't happen, it's fine. Like whatever.
That's
you
what
know?
I'm saying. Like no one cares about Jubilee's character. It's just like she was an X-Men
Yeah.
animated series. Cool.
That's exactly why you hit the nail on
Yeah,
the head right there.
that's
This
right,
is
yeah.
this is to get all those '90s kids who have disposable income. Hey, remember Jubilee, your like point of view character from the X-Men animated series? Well, she's in this now.
More.
Well, like,
Where's
remember
more?
the cover for X-Men 92 for
Yeah.
Secret Wars?
Mhm.
She is dead center,
Prominent.
front foreground,
Oh, wow.
bubble blown, no question.
Oh yeah, that's definitely designed to reach out to the X-Men the animated series kids. I mean,
Yeah.
there's
That's
no
your
reason
way
it
of
wouldn't be.
knowing it's X-Men animated. Otherwise, you're just like, oh, cool, Jim Lee's X-Men, I'm in. It's like, no. It's Jubilee, the cartoon.
I can't even deny that that's probably the reason why I like Jubilee so much, because I don't remember X-Men the animated series like not being there.
Yeah.
It was just
Yeah.
like it's just always been there as far as I'm concerned. If anyone says it wasn't, they're a liar.
It was a crazy time before the X-Men animated series because all you had was the rumors of this awesome pilot with Kitty Pryde in the same exact
Oh
role
my
as
god, Pride of
Jubilee.
the X-Men.
Pride of the
Pride of the
X-Men.
X-Men,
Oh,
which
We
you
ripped
watch
that
for free on YouTube. It's everywhere.
It was a disaster.
But no, that animation
Did
was.
nobody like Wolverine in the X-Men? I think that was a great remake.
This is for you, more.
So moving on.
Wolverine had the
I
best
like
line.
X-Men Evolution. I will defend X-Men
X-Men
Evolution.
Evolution was pretty okay. I didn't
Yeah,
really.
it's fine.
My
Yeah.
problem was I liked Wolverine versus or Hulk versus. I liked Hulk versus Wolverine, Hulk versus Thor.
That was cool.
And that version of Wolverine was really awesome. And then they tried to say that it happened, that it's the same thing from Wolverine and the
Yeah.
X-Men. He still can't stab anything. He's a man with 6 knives coming out of his hands, and he can't kill anybody with them.
But he
You've
can
neutered
threaten.
Wolverine. Like, because in the whole X-Men animated series, it's such a great cartoon, but Wolverine's like, now it's time for me to use my adamantium claws to cut that guy. Well, hold back, Wolverine. We need a door
Wait,
to be
is-
cut.
Is he a robot? No, he is a robot. You can. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can do it.
Is he a robot yet? Is he a robot? I'll kill the Sentinel.
He
I'll stab
used
him as
him
many
in Hulk
times I
versus-
didn't stab a person in this entire series.
But
He
well,
did it in Hulk versus Wolverine though, because he
That's
cut
the thing,
Deadpool's
that
arm
shot-
in 3 chunks.
That movie
and
was
Deadpool
friggin'
spent like half
awesome.
the episode like putting it back together.
Yeah, but okay, but like, I mean, sit down and imagine for a second. All right, it's like 1996, and you're like 11 years old.
Not even. It's like 94.
Okay, what 93, 94, something like that. But you're like 11 years old or something. I think maybe I was like 9 or 10. And like I'm sitting down.
The internet will turn on you.
What?
It's true.
But like
he's 30.
I mean, I'm sitting down and like I'm watching the show, and all of a sudden Wolverine just like busts out his claws and just like slashes a guy's throat open, and blood goes everywhere. Blood like sprays against the wall. I mean, like how extreme would that be for the?
I'll
90s?
actually give you. Let me give you a perfect example of that moment. Batman the Animated Series. Bane finally gets on the show when they change it to the New Adventures of Batman and Robin. They introduce Bane. Nightfall is still going on.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like Azrael is still Batman at this point. And you're seeing Bane on the cartoon, you're like, oh, they're going to change it. Like, they're going to crack his back on the cartoon show. He defeats Bane easily, and it's amazing. It's way better than Nightfall in that cartoon. Spoilers, by the way, for 20-year-old cartoon.
Oh, man!
But,
Oh, Mr. Sunday, there goes our Sunday.
it was a
That
great
was
show.
my Netflix queue, man. Come
Yeah,
on.
I know. It's not on Netflix. It'd be awesome if it was. However, every episode is on Amazon, I think.
Yes, it is. Yes,
Oh,
it
is
is.
it on Amazon Prime?
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh
it
my God,
is.
man, I'm watching
So,
that.
I go to the comic book store the next day, and I go, and my comic book guy's like, so did you see Batman? I'm like, oh my God, Bane. I'm like, but wouldn't it have been cool if they had actually done the Nightfall storyline? And he goes, so let me just show you an idea of Batman's back being broken and 8-year-old boys and girls just watching the show, and just the crack across America, and everyone just being like, what?
Oh no!
Like, yeah, I guess that's not gonna work. They can't even break glass on the show.
Fun
because-
fact
That's
about-
true.
There were a whole bunch of like studio notes. One of them was you can't strangle anybody, you can't break glass, nobody can go through a glass window. It was all these things that were like
That's so
randomly.
kids don't replicate, like some kid grabs his
Yeah.
brother
Yeah.
and throws
And
it
yet-
through
Makes sense.
glass.
And
I
yet,
don't know
that
about you guys, that's
episode
what I
in
did all the
question,
time.
they kill a woman in that episode. Is the thing.
They do.
They do it very subtly, but if you'll remember, Rupert Thorne has a henchwoman.
Oh, she's in there. No, at the end of it. All right, you mean like Rupert Thorne has her murdered after the end of the show?
You never see her again
That's
after that episode. He totally murdered her because she was trying to pull a power play. She was trying to get into a relationship with Bane and overthrow Rupert Thorne.
She
and
was
he
actually,
catch,
yeah.
yeah, and
Oh,
he catch
killed him,
I
too, so
vaguely
yeah.
remember that. Didn't she have like
You
black hair or
never
something
see-
like that?
She
Yep.
did have black
Yeah.
hair. She was cool. She was back.
So,
I vaguely
so
remember
guys,
that.
yeah.
Anyway.
Hugh Jackman is Wolverine. So,
By the way, I'm gonna
Okay,
throw out
okay.
my pick. I think I would be totally okay with Carl Urban playing Wolverine.
Yeah.
Okay, definitely. But is he too old? Like, because he's what,
You know-
42?
I was
don't-
worried about him kind of like being like 21 Jump Street with the cast of Star Trek, where he's like, yeah, right, everybody, we're cool. You're all like 20 and I'm like 40. But no, it's fine. I don't know. I think that'd be okay. I think he could pull it off. I think as long as he grows a big beard and he's just like he's grumpy, I think everyone's give him a pass.
Sure.
all right. So
See-
I've pulled up a list of 10 guys who could be Wolverine.
Oh shoot! Let's
Okay.
hear it.
I like it.
Let's get everyone's opinion. But Rob, you had something you've been trying to say. And I keep
Yes.
cutting
Oh,
you.
no. Oh, no. As far as the whole, Carl Urban thing, like I was in the same boat as Sal for a while, where I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then I saw Red, and then I saw him going total. Like I saw him in like the whole. I mean, it was a scripted fight, obviously between him and Bruce Willis, but he's
That was
still
really
like
good.
agile and athletic enough. He could hold his own.
Yeah,
in
yeah.
terms of like.
I like
action
that show.
sequences.
What was that show he was in that got cancelled?
Oh, the one with the robots.
Yeah, I didn't mind that. I
That was
like,
okay.
Yeah. I was like,
yeah.
oh, that's all right. But it was
I
on
never saw
Fox,
that
so it
show,
got
but I
cancelled
heard it.
immediately. So,
Yeah.
Nothing left on
Dread Man.
Fox.
All right, so here we go. So this list is provided by Hollywood.com because I don't want to make my own. So,
Thanks, Hollywood.
so they're
that's a
saying
website I never go to.
number 10,
Hollywood.
Russell Crowe.
Nah.
No.
I'm gonna have to
No.
Google these people, aren't I?
You don't know who Russell Crowe is? Russell Crowe's like one of the greatest.
Gladiator.
Did you never see the Cinderella Man?
Gladiator.
One of the
man.
Gladiator. Like.
Are you
What was
watching
it?
What was the
Gladiator.
one, what was
Here's
the
the
one where he
link.
played
Here's the
John
link for the
Nash?
sake
like a
of-
beautiful
Look,
mind,
Master
whatever
and
it was?
Commander.
And you guys need to go through this with me at the same time because what they've done is they've added Wolverine hair and claws to every one of these actors.
Oh,
Like, go
So the
ahead.
second one is Thomas Jane.
I like
Oh no,
Thomas
because
Jane.
he's gonna do the Punisher.
He's never
He's
gonna.
a
he was
really
the Punisher.
underrated
I
performer.
thought he said he
been
was gonna be the
screwed up.
Punisher.
No, he's
He
not.
was, wasn't he?
He hates. Well, he quit after the
He's
first.
done, yeah.
Yeah, he
After
quit
Dirty
after
Laundry.
Warzone was going to be such garbage.
Oh, I thought he said that I thought he said that he would come back and he would play the Punisher if Marvel brought him into the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I would love that.
He
I would
would,
too.
but he's,
Like, he's the
but
definitive
he's already
Punisher.
Volstagg. He's already one of the Warriors 3, remember?
No, he's
But then
not.
again, I guess he could go
No,
back.
that's
yeah,
Ray
he's-
Stevenson.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
that's
I
right.
was
That's
gonna say,
Warzone
what?
Punisher, not Stevenson.
Like, I would know
Sorry,
if Thomas
my
Jane
bad,
was in the Marvel
sir.
Cinematic Universe.
Oops, I fucked up.
I
Sorry,
want someone. I want someone that's stumpier than this guy.
Right.
That's fair.
Sure.
So far, all these options are tall. All right, Viggo Mortensen. I
Hell
cannot see
No
Aragorn.
That's-
No way.
I like him a lot, but
Aragorn?
no.
he would be the mumbliest Wolverine ever.
He would just like walk
He
around
would-
with elves and sing songs.
He
like,
would just
no way.
start randomly singing, and people would just be.
He's too pretty. Like, my Wolverine's got to be a little rough. He's got to be a guy who's lived some years.
Vigo just
He's
looks
got
bizarre.
seen some stuff, you know.
Seen some stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has Nam flashbacks, and he wasn't even in Nam. That
Absolutely.
kind
He was
of
in
guy.
Nam.
We got
He was in
Edward
every-
Norton. Even though he's the Hulk at one point in his career, now he's potentially Wolverine.
No, dear God, no.
No,
Edward Norton?
he could not.
No.
Edward Norton. No.
No. Wait, are these actors
Say
that
that-
nearly were Wolverine, or that could be Wolverine?
Oh, this is
saying he could be, but like these
No.
are so no.
Under no circumstances could Edward Norton play Wolverine. Like,
now,
Wolverine
here's-
would come to life in
we'll
the
say
comics
this.
and kill Edward Norton for playing Wolverine.
I did think Edward Norton make a really good Bruce Banner. I liked
Yeah,
that.
I
Oh,
like.
I loved him
Yeah.
as Bruce
No,
Banner,
every
yeah.
time I see the
Super
movie,
underrated.
every time I watch Avengers, I'm like, could have been Edward Norton.
Could have been.
I
He
know.
didn't want to play ball. He demanded final cut on all of his movies.
Because he's Edward friggin' Norton.
Yeah, he always does that. He's notorious for
He
that.
did American
He's
History
such a
X.
diva.
Yeah.
Glenn Danzig.
No,
Singer?
no.
yeah,
From the
yeah.
Misfits. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Danzig
he
is
looks
only
stump-
5'4". So
See, he
He-
looks
he's-
stumpy enough, but he looks slightly too old.
And he's not an actor, so that's
No,
This
he's not. He's-
is an old wizard pick.
He said he was quoted a few years ago as saying, "How would you have played Wolverine?" Because it was rumored in the '90s, and he said, "I would have played it less gay." Like he said that. So
Wow.
no, he doesn't get Wolverine.
No.
Gary Sinise.
No.
I like him, but too old.
What?
Gary Sinise. Where I don't understand.
Who
Like,
made
what's the
this
thought
list?
pro-
My dad?
That's exactly it. Like it was people who sat down and said, "Hey guys, let's pick people who have like almost won Oscars in like the last."
No,
like,
this list is
15
like,
years."
so
you know
let's
what it
make a
is?
list of who's playing Wolverine. Who is that again?
Do you
No,
think
you know
they're
what it
actually-
was?
do you
Just a
think-
list of actors, and they just said they could be Wolverine.
Just slap Wolverine.
Or
up.
do you think they just said, who can we easily shop Wolverine hair onto?
Yeah.
I mean, I will say
Yeah.
this: like
Aaron
this Wolverine hair
Eckhart.
is pretty fantastic.
Aaron Eckhart?
Yeah.
No,
I like Eckhart a lot, but I don't see him as Wolverine.
no.
Yeah. Yeah, everyone they want is like.
You know what? I almost feel like they just picked a whole bunch of actors who wear leather jackets.
Ah,
Okay, right.
I will give Aaron Eckhart this though. Like he can play like a gritty to the ground kind of guy. If you saw Battle Los Angeles, like he was like a
Sure,
gritty
yeah.
down to the ground kind of guy. Like he was really
Despite
cool.
that
in
movie's
role.
terribleness, he was
Yeah.
fun.
I
Thank
didn't
you
think
for
it was that
smoking
bad.
is a great one too.
Yeah.
That
for
is
smoking whiskey.
amazing movie. Yeah.
Oh, I love that one. Yeah. Doug Ray Scott. Doug Ray Scott? I don't know. How to say
He
that.
was Wolverine. Yeah.
he was in
originally cast.
Was he?
Water.
Yeah, he had to drop out, and then he ended up doing.
Oh.
He dropped out for Mission Impossible 2, and then which is terrible. It's the worst,
Oh,
worst Mission
Holy
Impossible.
cow! Can you guys
And then
hear
he
that?
went on Desperate Housewives. So
Oh.
What's
Yeah.
going on, Rob?
Like it's like the world's ending outside my house.
That bad, huh?
It's thundering and lightning so bad.
Well, hey,
It's-
if you're before you die, can I get access to your YouTube channel?
No.
There you go.
my YouTube channel will die
Because
with
every
me.
time Rob's almost gonna die.
Why have you
Okay.
angered Thor,
All right.
Rob?
Their number 10 pick, or the one before their number 2 is Bob
Oh my
Hoskins.
god! Okay, this has to be like
Hoskins
a
is
penalty.
dead.
This is
He's
some-
dead. Is he dead?
Yeah, he's been dead for 2 years.
Oh,
The
what?
ghost
Hold
of
on.
Bob
What?
Hoskins.
Yep.
Bob Hoskins
Yeah, but we can just
died.
like, but we can just
Okay.
like get his corpse and attach it to strings like a marionette.
Weekend at Bernie's style.
Yeah, can we
That's-
just
that's-
Agree that Can we just agree that the next time we're going to do this, I don't pick the first one on the list when I Google who could play Wolverine?
Yeah.
That's
I've
messed
enjoyed this a
up.
lot.
Like Faust's whole thing is meant like, I mean, like Bob Hoskins like, hey, what are you doing? Get out of here.
I'm Wolverine!
I'm alive.
Be careful, guys. We have real knives on his hands, so don't go near that. We really can't control what's going on with us anymore.
Just like
He just
swatting him.
flops
people.
around.
Oh my god, this website moves so slow too.
Okay. So I think that's the ultimate
But
problem.
there's one more. There's one more. And this
one
is the
more.
ultimate one. They are recommending their #1 pick, Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yes, I will, dude. Let me tell you something. If it has Jean-Claude Van Damme, I'll go see it, and that's just the way the world works. No, I am 100% serious. That is the world according to Rob. If it has Jean-Claude Van Damme, I will sit in a theater and watch it. As terrible as it may be, I
You
will
need
watch
to talk to Armin more because he's a huge fan. Like he's just like every day he's like, Joel, let me talk to you about Bloodsport and all these other movies.
Oh yes, Bloodsport, man.
So what you're saying is, if Hollywood made a movie about your life, you would have Jean-Claude Van Damme play you.
Oh yes, I'd have Morgan Freeman narrate it, and Jean-Claude Van Damme would like play me.
Okay, I'm just gonna say I'm just picturing like one of those cartoon series. You're not exactly a buff guy, Rob. So I'm picturing something like Homer Simpson or like like Family Guy, and then Jean-Claude Van Damme is like, I am Homer.
Okay, no way, freaking Family Guy, no way. But I will say, Bloodsport's like the greatest movie of all time.
Okay.
I've never seen Bloodsport. I gotta watch.
Sorry, this list sucks. It's not. We didn't.
You've
make
never seen Bloodsport? Oh my god!
I know.
Dude,
I've seen
James-
Time Cop. Does that count for anything?
Oh no, Time Cop's not. Okay, James, check us out. So Bloodsport's like the
Ali
best
G.
movie ever.
I know exactly what it is. I'm just.
Oh,
never-
okay.
Isn't he a movie guy? Like Mr. Sunday Movies does more.
Yeah, I was like,
movies,
surely you know what Blood. That's why I was surprised. I was like, surely you know what Bloodsport. Dude, Bloodsport is so good. I love that movie.
He's
Yeah,
Mr. Sunday
I know.
Movies, but he actually doesn't watch movies. It's a ploy.
No.
to get you to go to-
Exactly. I just read the Wikipedia synopsis. And go, oh yeah, I get it.
And it's
I think I got
pretty
this.
good so far.
Someone in the chat said Ali G for Wolverine.
So
Well,
Sacha
like-
Baron Cohen playing
Yeah.
Ali G, playing Wolverine.
Hey,
Love
he's
it.
he's a talented actor. I could see him do it. He would be really
Yeah.
method about it. He would have to have people call him Logan all the time.
Well, if you want somebody who's like gonna act the shit, like I would watch it. I don't know if I would, but just get Daniel Day-Lewis to play Wolverine.
Yeah, there you
Oh,
go.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
I changed my genetic material to become an actual mutant.
Somebody had a really good idea. They said Jean-Claude Van Damme could play me, and Robert De Niro could play Sal. Okay, here's what I want from the chat. Here's what I want from you guys. If you guys could assign an actor to play each of us, who would that actor be? Like, I'm already Jean-Claude Van Damme, and
Faust
Sal's
would have the
already
Jonas Brothers.
Robert De
One of
Niro.
them.
I'll take Godfather.
I would have Dakota Fanning. Thank you very much.
Dakota Fanning.
And she's really talented too.
Hey, listen, yeah, she's an.
Yeah.
Jonah
I would
Hill.
have Dakota Fanning. Thank you.
Like, Joel will be played
You're
by
so
Jonah Hill.
definitive about that.
I would be Jack Black. I know it. Everyone's gonna say, and Joel would be played by Jack Black.
Oh, they weren't going to say that, but now they are because you said that.
Put it in
guy
the head.
too, who's like
Well-
budget store Jack Black. He was in like Balls of Fury and like all
Oh,
those
yeah.
other comedy movies.
Oh, yeah.
Here's my question for you: who the hell is going to play a goat head with a blaster pistol?
Harrison Ford in a goat mask.
CGI will play that.
Isn't that just Johnny Depp?
Yeah.
Oh, shots fired on Johnny Depp.
Yeah, man, that's Rob.
Yeah.
Seth Rogen is me. I'll take it. It could have gone worse. Bobby Hill to play Joel. You're getting played by a comic
Benedict
book character.
Cumberbatch.
Oh,
Alright.
somebody
accept
said
that.
Dwayne Johnson is me. Like, dude, let me tell you something. If The Rock wants to play me, that's fine. The Rock's like, I'm gonna
Sounds
I
be
thought
like
you
Rock.
were actually getting his
Guy who played
character real.
Dante
If
from
The Rock
Clerks.
wants to read comics, and The Rock is
gonna.
going to read comics, here it comes.
That needs to happen.
My favorite was Sal would obviously be played by the guy from Clerks.
Brian O'Halloran.
Dante.
Someone just said Miley Cyrus for me.
Joel, they're saying Danny DeVito for you. Miley
Hey,
Cyrus, I could see
I'm
you have
fine
very
with that.
similar hairstyles.
Talent. Did we want to talk about comics?
Comics,
All right,
one
so
of
let's
those.
move on to our
Oh,
next
can-
topic, which is
Can I just
convergence.
quickly? Sorry, can I just throw out a name for Wolverine, even though he
Yes.
probably wouldn't do it? Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not a
I
bad
could say
call.
that.
I
He
could
would do it and
definitely
then
see
quit
that.
halfway through.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he would.
yeah,
He would.
yeah,
Yeah,
Trying to
exactly.
find the convergence list for tomorrow. Where is it?
Tom Hardy's like, I already did one superhero movie. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I would love, like, dude, I'd love to see a Tom Hardy Wolverine. I mean, it'd be like, but here's the problem: if Tom Hardy were going to play Wolverine, he were going to be effective. It would have to be rated R. I couldn't see it anything other than
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Like, it'd have to be dark.
He
But-
was really good in The Drop this year, where he basically plays like a Rocky guy who's like, like kind of dumb but really tough, but with a good heart and everything. It was like James Gandolfini's last movie.
Oh, I remember that movie.
Dude, I
Keep stalling. I'm looking for the comic list.
Dude, I will tell you the movie that won me over for Tom Hardy. Like, I was unsure about Tom Hardy. I'd see movies from time to time. I saw Warrior. Like, a friend of mine said, you should go see Warrior. Warrior's so good. Like, as soon as I saw that movie, and I was like, oh my god, Tom Hardy is solid.
Yeah.
And so
Really great as a sports movie because you have the double underdog situation, which never happens. Usually it's just one underdog. This movie had two underdogs.
So many underdogs, yeah. Man.
Okay. You guys ready?
Okay.
Yeah.
I think so.
We're talking Convergence. Convergence Zero came out last week. Both me and Rob came out with videos talking about Convergence Zero. Rob's was a lot more in depth. Mine was like, yeah, you should read it. Yeah.
I also had a video.
Yeah,
And mine's,
for the
mine's
channel
scheduled. Mine's scheduled out tomorrow at 3 in the afternoon.
And I guess technically Joel probably beat us all to it because they put out like every comic on Wednesday. So
Actually, you know what? That wasn't me for once. After doing 2 year-long weekly events, I farmed that one out to Matt, is what I did, which makes sense because he reviews Superman and he reviews Injustice and Earth 2, and those are going to play big parts in Convergence right away, so maybe I made the right choice.
Yeah.
So those of you guys who are not up to date with what's going on with Convergence is the big DC event. It's coming out before Secret Wars. And basically what is happening is we've discovered that all of the alternate worlds, all these worlds that have died out, have been trapped in bottles, various cities, by brainiacs around the entire multiverse. And they're all being contained on this planet known as Telo. How do you pronounce it?
I thought that was the name of the bad
No,
guy.
that's the name of the bad
Well,
guy.
no,
We don't know the name.
The name of the planet, but the planet also becomes the bad guy. The planet that he kept
Well,
on.
the planet. The planet
That's
is
what
the
happened?
bad guy, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's a sentient planet that it was a planet that was sentient. It was terraformed by Brainiac, and it was taken to a place outside of space and time. Anyway, Telos is the planet, basically.
Yeah, it's a planet, but
And
also
that
the main
guy.
villain. Either way, okay. So all of this stuff is on this planet. So what we discovered in that first issue is that Brainiac has gone missing. Now, I'm not going to lie, I didn't finish Future's End, but apparently, spoilers, Future's End ends with Brainiac. Yeah, Joe.
No, it doesn't even end with Brainiac. Future's End has a non-ending. It doesn't end at all. That's
Oh,
why-
God, thank God I didn't finish it.
Oh my god.
The main Brainiac, the one that basically his disappearing kicks this off, he shows up in Future's End like around issue 40, and he's like, I am Cthulhu Brainiac. I exist outside time and space, blah, blah, blah. And he gets defeated by the Atom and Mr. Terrific.
Oh, okay.
But not really defeated. They shrink him down using Atom Tech, and then the Atom just kind of like traps him in a ball, and that's where he is now.
Pretty tight, actually. I like that defeat. That defeating of Brainiac. Very poetic.
Okay,
They should
well,
get
he's in
him
a
a
bottle.
bottle.
Yeah, he gets in a bottle. So he's missing now. So since he's missing, the planet has decided that it's going to put all of these worlds against each other to decide which the strongest one is. And that's what they're aiming for right now. So it's very much basically Battle World. I don't know who devised their
Yeah.
plan
Yeah,
first,
who
but it's
came
the same
first?
thing.
I'd like to know
Yeah,
who blamed for
exactly,
this.
yeah.
Because Marvel and DC, one of them started this ball rolling with, let's make all of our Elseworlds fight.
The idea of taking, like, of making, like, the outcome of your universe result from picking champions and having them battle with each other, that doesn't necessarily sound like one company over the other, as much as it sounds like both companies having done that already.
Yeah.
I mean,
Where you literally have, like, the fate of the universe dependent on, like, champions fight. What a stupid idea.
Wouldn't it be a wonderful twist that both Secret Wars and Battle World are both backdoor pilots for a new Marvel DC
I would take
book
that
they're
in
doing?
a
That would be
heartbeat. I would
incredible.
pay $8 an issue for that idea. For them to be like, and now they're like, for both of them, their last universe that exists is DC and Marvel. And just badoosh.
Okay,
I mean,
so anyway, now that Sal's done ranting, or I'm going to force him to stop. So
Literally 30 seconds.
tomorrow comes out the official issue 1.
Yeah.
Issue 1 begins with Earth 2. Now, I've read all the way to the end of World's End, and literally World's End ends with Earth 2 being destroyed. And all of the civilians are now floating through space looking for a new home. And as they say in the ending, we will find out what happens to the heroes in Convergence 1.
After this.
Right.
After this quick break.
Yeah.
Same Earth time or same Earth 2 channel, same Earth 2 plays.
Well, so Convergence 1, for looking at the cover, opens up with what's the Black Superman's name from that universe? What's his name?
Valzad.
Okay. Valzad, Thomas Wayne Batman, and our Green Lantern, who was attached to the Green, not actually attached to the Green Lantern power.
Right.
By the way, for the record, I love Earth 2, and I love the complete reimagining of all of the heroes. That was the greatest thing that they came out of the New 52. But yeah, so Convergence is going to open up with that. And if you haven't been reading Earth 2 or World's End, you may be a little lost, but all you really need to know is the superheroes of Earth 2, which are extreme variations of the ones you know from the main DC universe, are going to be like the star cast of Convergence and the looks of the thing. Because basically, the tagline is, where do worlds go when they die? We just lost Earth 2. They literally just ended it.
Then we know exactly where it's going.
Yeah, that was the big takeaway line from Telos the bad guy, where he's like, I house cities here from universes in dead timelines. Where I'm like, whoa, dead timelines. So you mean to tell me that it's official that all the universes and all the cities that show up here, like, they're dead and gone, the worlds they belong to?
Right, just the cities that have survived.
That's what he's claiming, yeah. So now, because of this, now we don't know how these timelines work. We don't. For all we know, we're getting comics in some of these timelines right now. We don't know how far in the future the whole Brainiac thing is. The whole Brainiac time world thing is kind of removed from time and space.
Very confusing. Because technically, Earth 2 guys were supposed to make the jump to Future's End, which is 5 years in the future.
Right.
From where we are now.
It's very much like the New Gods, where they kind of like they're a part of everything and nothing at the same time. They're there, but they're not, that situation. So one of the big things is coming out of it, and I think you mentioned it, but not only do we have Earth 2 being heavily influenced into the Convergence event, but also the Injustice universe.
Did not see that coming.
Yeah, I did not see that coming at all. I thought they were just leaving Injustice.
I totally saw that coming, but I was surprised that it took so long for them to announce it.
It speaks volumes to how popular that series is, both the comic and I guess the game, although I think the comic was actually more popular.
Comic's way more popular.
Yeah,
the comic's kicking ass.
Okay, so Mr. Sunday Movies. We're going to go ahead and give you a chance to talk now, finally, since Vinny usually just won't shut up once he starts talking, and neither will Sal.
I was just explaining
No. Here we go.
You can talk all you want. I'm going to leave. I'm out. Bye, guys.
People are still running off actors, and for like us as people, and like somebody said, like
Vin Diesel is Rob. Rob, take that. Take that while you can.
I am taking that. I'm getting all the best looking people to play me, and that is so awesome. Okay, so anyway. So Mr. Sunday Movie. So what's your thoughts on the whole Convergence thing thus far, or do you just not?
Look, to be honest, no. Look, I'm all for it. Not all for it. It's happening, so I've kind of settled into it. I've accepted that these things happen every few years or whatever, but it seems they now come with more. They're more regular than what they used to be. This used to be like a once in a lifetime or once in a generation thing, and like it's. I think it's great for people coming on board, because as soon as this is finished, then you'll get a whole lot of new issue ones, I guess, which is good for new people. But again, it's a slap in the face to everybody who was reading everything prior, like how people felt with the new 52.
Yeah.
And also, do you think this could be better than Flashpoint? Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like Flashpoint is at least kind of more accessible. If somebody just picked up Convergence issue 0, you'd be like, what the fuck is this?
Oh,
you gotta know a lot of DC history.
Yeah.
I think this is what DC thinks is like an answer to that. I think they're like, whereas, Flashpoint was very like new reader, like open book kind of thing. Convergence is for those die-in-the-wolves DC fans. Look at all the Golden Age stuff we're getting. You're welcome.
Yeah. You're right, yeah.
Going off the point that these reboots happen every few years or so, that is true to the point that we've even now got like, so is it a reboot like Crisis on Infinite Earths, or is it a reboot like 0 Hour reboot?
Yeah, they're saying,
or is it like a Flashpoint reboot?
Isn't it some comics are staying the same? So like some are continuing and some are issue 1s. Like
it's
which
very
puts it at the level,
not change in any way.
Which puts it at the level of 0 Hour.
To go with what you're saying about this being for the old and Mr. Sunday too, about this being for the old readers. The Convergence Superman 1, which is coming out tomorrow, is pre-Flashpoint Superman, the classic Superman that everyone loves, with his red underwear on the outside.
Yeah, married to Lois Lane.
And she's pregnant.
But see, you have to look at it for what it is, though, and this is the issue that I think a lot of people who are like looking to get into Convergence have, is they say, okay, like Marvel Secret Wars, we've got 3 years worth of build-up, which DC doesn't have, and like it's all going to come to a head like on May 2nd, I think, which is when Secret Wars #1 comes out, free comic book day, so make sure you guys check that out, and awesome. That's basically Marvel saying, okay, we're just going to multiverse whatever. We all know that at the end of the day, this is designed to basically tie everything into the movies. So
Yeah.
DC's Convergence is nothing like that.
No.
DC's Convergence was just like DC coming along and saying, okay, look, I know we rebooted everything with New 52. A lot of you older fans are pissed off, so here's like 6 months or 2 months or however long it is. Here's just like old stuff, and it's just for you guys.
Yeah.
And then once Convergence is done, like all they're doing is saying, okay, like once Convergence is done, we're going to change some things, but the new continuity that was established with the New 52 is staying. Like that's not going anywhere. It's just going to be
spent.
Well,
money was spent. So
for the record, Convergence has been hyped up a lot longer than just for 6 months, and Secret Wars has only been hyped up in like 3 books for the last 3 years. Yeah, but they're all been written by the same guy. And, like he's been writing the same story for the last 3 years. It's not like Marvel's been hyping up Secret Wars in Spider-Man or Daredevil or the Hawkeye book or the Magneto book. They've been doing it in Avengers and New Avengers, both written by Hickman.
Yeah.
Also,
to be fair, while the New 52 continuity is staying, it's also not staying simultaneously because
they were
DC are
saying-
saying like we're not really
Creativity over
doing
continuity.
anymore.
Yeah.
well,
They're
no,
just
but I
throwing
mean,
it
like the origins of Superman after Convergence are going to be the New 52 origins. I mean, when Convergence ends,
Unless
and
they don't
then-
want it to.
Well,
Yeah.
That's what they're saying.
well, that's, I mean,
They
let's
could
Be like,
they
you know
want
what?
to.
That emo Superman that all you complained about, gone. That
Gone.
one you loaded from pre-new Flashpoint, he's back. Go to his origin.
I mean, maybe
Red Blue
they'll do
Superman
that.
coming back.
I mean, maybe they'll look
if
at.
they're doing,
Oh, go ahead.
I mean, if they're doing creativity over continuity, maybe we might end up getting someone that likes red and blue Superman in.
Yeah.
No one likes that. But what I'm saying though is like, because I mean, you like to say that they didn't hype this up very much, but I've been reading New 52 almost every issue. I mean, almost. Some of the stupid crap I didn't read, but if you've been reading the DC stuff, a lot of it has been hyping up for something like this to happen. A lot of it related to Booster Gold over the years we've gone through. It all started with the Trinity War, where we were like, "There's more. The multiverse is coming back. What's going on?"
Yeah.
You know, and then we had the various other things popping up. Booster Gold started seeing stuff. Booster Gold met his pre-New 52 Flashpoint version.
No. I don't mean they haven't hyped it up in the sense that they haven't told us it's coming and they haven't said things are going to change. I don't mean like that. I mean in the sense that, like with Hickman's New Avengers, it was, okay, guys, look, like realities are ending and it's going to culminate in this. There's no equivalent in DC Comics of what Brainiac was doing while he was going through and capturing worlds. Like there's not a singular story following him. It's just...
You know,
there's all these
let's
other
not-
stories, and he's kind of in the background, and you see him from time to time. But that's it.
Let's not kid ourselves here. This whole Convergence event, there's a very practical reason for why this is happening. And I was even joking about this with Sal, and that is, it is a placeholder event to tide the DC staff of writers over while they make the big move from their offices in New York to their new offices in LA.
Yeah, they just set the Roomba on and then clean the house while they went on vacation. Like, okay, that'll event will keep them happy until we can.
And that's why I love Jimmy Palmiotti, because all the books that came out this week are like, hey, what happened next to this character? Find out in 2 months after Convergence. But Palmiotti's like, hey, everyone, what happened to Harley and the gang of Harleys? Wait about 2 months while we change offices, and I'll tell you that.
He's like, no, I don't have to make
I mean,
it
it's true.
I will give you this because Convergence has been hyped up. If you've been following the New 52, it's been hyped up in multiple books and it's being mentioned, and this type of thing has been happening for a while now. But I will give you this thing. It feels to me more like DC's going into Convergence, and their attitude is, what works will stay, what doesn't work won't.
Yes.
We'll figure it out as we're going. And Secret Wars is kind of like, we know what we're going to do afterwards. Hope you like it.
Yeah, definitely seems
Yeah, that's
to have,
fair. Yeah.
Well, Marvel definitely seems to have a plan, and
Like
DC,
the end plan. Well, and I agree with you, because like DC's Convergence, it feels like they've been hyping up to it, but they didn't even fully know what they were going to do.
Well, that's
they were
the
like,
thing,
it's going to be a multiverse
DC already
explosion
has a
thing.
track record of not having a plan.
Yeah.
Like
They have
DC already
ideas.
were like, "Hey, this Flashpoint event's gonna be kind of fun." Yeah, and then and then he fixes everything. What if he didn't fix everything? We have a month and a half. What if we did a crisis right now? And people are like, "Okay."
But
And
what
then
about all the
everyone's been
books that
bitching
will
about
leave
it for the last 4
unfinished?
years. But like, yeah, they have the track record of like, oh, and guess what? It made us boatloads of cash not planning. Like it's like the kid who stays up until 2 a.m. and then realizes he has a paper due the next day and then gets an A on it. It's like, oh, I guess I've learned a lesson. I don't have to freaking work very hard on this stupid course.
Well,
like,
no, but I mean, but it's okay. It makes sense if they're going to. Okay, we know that they're canceling a whole bunch of books. They're retitling books, things like that. Now, why some of the books that are coming out, I don't like Red Hood and Arsenal, but nonetheless, like some of the books we're getting is kind of weird.
Dell
But
gotta eat.
I mean, I will agree with you that like the New 52, like you guys have said before, DC was just kind of taking ideas and throwing them and just kind of seeing what lasts, what sticks, or whatever. And that seems to be going for it, which is not a bad idea. But here's the problem: if DC says, "Okay, guys, like here's like all the versions," let's say for example that what Brainiac said or what was being told to Superman in Convergence number 0 wasn't accurate, and that Superman isn't dead, and like not every version of Superman's dead. There's just like some that are still there. We just haven't seen them yet. We don't know who they are, or even some of the ones that we thought were dead are still alive. Whatever the case may be. If they took like right before, like pre-Flashpoint Superman, right before they rebooted New 52, or they came out with New 52, if they introduce him and they say, all right, guys, here's this version of Superman, like, which one do you like better? That one?
Right.
Or Flashpoint? Well, it's obvious at that point. Like, you've got zillions of DC readers who all loved pre-Flashpoint Superman. And then you have like a handful of people who are just now getting into DC with New 52. They're clearly outnumbered. So that's, if anything, it would just seem like DC saying, okay, guys, like here's a choice between which one you want.
Unquote.
And let us know which one you think is most popular, hint, hint, nudge, nudge, and then, and then pre-Flashpoint Superman suddenly post-convergence, and that's that. So.
But does pre-Flashpoint Superman have a solar flare power? Can you do that?
For the record, I mean, I like the new 52 Superman. I think he's gotten a lot more character development than the old one did. But the old one had his place. He was the icon, the idol, this is what you should be as a superhero. And I like him, I do, but I do like the fact I feel like the new 52 got more room to grow. Because they started him as this early emo guy who's like, I want Lois Lane, but I can't have her.
He was a little Spider-Man-y in the beginning. He was a little Spider-Man-y.
Yeah.
I mean, my whole issue of like going off of Superman, my whole issue of the New 52 Superboy was that he was emo. Because pre-New 52 Superboy, he didn't care what you thought of him. He was fun. And then New 52 Superboy was just, I'm Superboy. And I'm sad for no reason.
And they gave me a Tron outfit that I'll wear everywhere.
And then my evil doppelganger stole my body for a bit.
I gave up on that story. When I opened up the issue and it was like 50 Superboys holding down Superboy and telling him that he needed to be a hero, I'm like, nope.
I finished the series a few months after it actually finished and was reading it, literally going, I don't know why I'm reading this. Yeah. This is terrible. I could be doing so many things.
In Teen Titans Annual, he's back again.
Yeah, well, but he's got blood on his hands.
No.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is.
But and what was with that Teen Titans Annual? I could go off on a rant.
No, you know what? Let's do that for a second because I went halfway through that thing and I'm like, nope.
Okay, First off, there's a Clarion in it, but it's not Clarion. But it is Clarion, but it's not the Clarion from the Clarions. What?
And Clarion is part of Manchester Black's new version of the Elite, which is Clarion, Kid Flash, Guardian Jim Harper. Oh yeah, he's elite, that dude. That dude is the spitting image of a guy who's elite. And then some other people in Manchester Black wants Power Girl and Wonder Girl to join his new team. It's like, oh, we're going to fight the other Teen Titans because I'm basically building a Young Justice team, kind of, sort of. Manchester Black makes no sense in that series. Like, oh, I fund the team, and I'm also kind of on the team, but I'm also transparently evil.
I love how Joel is doing like an offensive like accent with Europeans in it.
I just caught on to that.
I'm just looking at Faust's face, and either he's upset about the whole Teen Titans Annual, or he's like, "What the
even
F
more
are you
no
doing,
one
Joel?"
here is technically English. Faust, you're Scottish, and Mr. Sunday, you're Australian. So
true, very true.
It's fine. So both of you technically have a big gripe against the English anyway. So it works out fine.
We can all be racist to people who aren't here from that country. It's
right?
fine.
Exactly. No, once we get an actual Englishman on. We'll knock off the Cockney Oliver Twist accent.
Okay.
Oh my
I'll
God.
call my co-host Tom, and I'll get him on. No, I was done.
I'm just looking at Faust's face get worse and worse as Joel kept going.
I was just thinking about that Teen Titans Annual. I'm like, I've got every issue of the Teen Titans going right back to the first one in the 1960s, so I have to keep buying it.
Yeah.
And if I buy it, I have to keep reading it.
Yeah.
It's even weirder.
Yeah, committed.
Is the Teen Titans together beat up Martian Manhunter in that book? Which makes no sense. I'm like, they can't beat Martian Manhunter is one of the most overpowered characters in all of comics.
Okay.
The only way
I have no idea what to do with.
the only character I could like justify beating up Martian Manhunter would be Ms. Martian because she was able to beat up Supergirl. But she ain't on the team.
The only way
But
that
she's in the New 52 somewhere.
Yeah.
the only way that anybody beats Martian Manhunter is if they write Martian Manhunter like he's forgotten his powers. Like
That was this one.
You know what I mean?
The best line I've ever seen was in Blackest Night when Martian Manhunter came back to life, and he starts destroying everything, and he even says, everyone always forgets I'm as strong as Superman," and he like destroys everything.
And telepathic and can shape shit.
Yeah. And can go intangible. Like, you can't lay a finger on him. Like, if he didn't want you to.
That's what I never got. Like, I was going through a list on because I was looking at different topics, and one of them was like 10 superheroes in DC that are stronger than Superman, and they were like number one was like Martian Manhunter. They were like, he can do everything Superman can't, and I was like, okay, like he can make himself like you can make, I guess, intangible. Yeah, so Superman just can't punch him, and I'm like, well, in that case. That's really all you would
times that they fought. You know what's funny? He shapeshifts and wraps around him, and he's like, "What now?"
And
that's why
and that's why I say Miss Martian could probably beat up Martian Manhunter because she could do everything Martian Manhunter could do, and she had laser eyes.
Yeah.
Got that advantage, yeah.
Martian Manhunter has always been like...
Martian? She's a white Martian? I lost track of that whole thing.
Oh, God.
She was a white Martian, but rejected her white Martian heritage. But then in the Titans of Tomorrow storyline, her white Martian self went into her green Martian self for reasons.
Marches and shit.
I get it now.
And so that gradually turned her evil, but then the white Martian self got out of her.
Oh, so those two characters?
There was a weird story arc in like the scene. She basically had split personality disorder for about 5 months.
Okay.
Was it two separate characters, or was it like in her head battling kind of thing?
It was sort of in her head, but then she learned how to sick bunnies on her white Martian self in her mind.
Wait, are you making this up as you go along?
You know he's not. It's comics.
When we get out of here, you need to tell me the issues because I'm getting those. The next complete story from Comic Storian, and then she sicked the bunnies on her mind.
You can't write this stuff.
So
Jeff Johns can.
Regarding the no continuity and convergence, and kind of connecting a little bit to Secret Wars, if you don't mind. I had a question regarding that because, like, they're saying that there's no continuity after Convergence is over, despite the fact that, like, the whole book is steeped in not 1 but 1,000 continuities.
It's continuity porn, is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. But they're gonna have like no continuity afterwards. I noticed that that's kind of being implemented now in Marvel with respect to the Rage of Ultron original graphic novel.
Yep.
Because they're saying technically, some people are saying, and I don't know if that's an official word from Marvel, if that's just the creative team, that Rage of Ultron is taking place in the new continuity from Marvel. After Secret Wars.
I didn't know that. All right.
Yeah, that's what. But once again, like I will say that with a caveat that says like that's what I've heard, but I haven't seen Marvel say like this is new. Like,
well, yeah, it's like we talked about a little while ago. I think honestly, both companies have realized trying to maintain a consistent continuity is a lot of work, and you end up putting a lot of things that don't sell. When instead you could just put out stuff you know is going to sell and just stop dealing with the continuity crap.
Exactly.
The saddest.
Oh, go on.
No.
You're right.
I was going to say.
Bubba Booey.
All right, man, stop. Mr. Sunday goes first.
Please,
He's the guest.
Yeah.
No, mind. Like, am I going?
Yeah, you're good.
Go.
Okay, I was going to say, I'm sure they just look at the numbers and they're like, well, Civil War still sells, and because that's a standalone thing. Or they look at Old Man Logan. Like, they look at the most successful comics and whatever. They go, okay, these are self-contained runs. We can wrap it up in a nice little book. You can read it as a standalone, and I think they're like, well, we just do that for everything.
Yeah. So, well, that's kind of where they're headed right now. That's where they've been heading with respect to, can you write your story arc in 4 or 12 issues so that we can get volumes? The other thing is like, Marvel and DC aren't comic book publishers anymore. They are stewards of stories that have all been written. They're all just pitchmen now. Because Marvel and DC are owned by 2 different owned by movie production studios, and the Harry Potterization of like movie culture. I find that like Marvel doesn't need to make comics anymore. DC doesn't need to make new stories anymore. You literally, like Spider-Man has proven, you only needed 2 or 3 graphic novels worth of comic books for Spider-Man to make 6 movies. Like, and they have hundreds of movies in these stories. Like you don't have to write a new Spider-Man story or a new Batman story for the next 100 years to make enough movies based on that character. Yeah. And I think they've kind of cut wise to that. And so it's kind of like no continuity for them is like, well, no continuity because we could make original graphic novels that are like ideas that we have germinating around that would normally be an ongoing series, but now can be like a self-contained story, which would be great.
Pros and cons.
You know, but and the fact that like they can now say like, well, we're just stewards of the stories that have been written. Like there's already a huge, I mean, most of our readership remembers those stories we wrote. The ones who don't watch YouTube channels that explain them. And so as a result, like we have this collective audience who, a captive audience, if you will, who knows the stories or wants to know the stories and wants to see them on celluloid. And so there's really no incentive for them to make new comics anymore. Like that's kind of my doomsday prophecy for the comic book industry right now is like that after Secret Wars, after Convergence, this would be the time for them to say, we're not really making new comics anymore. Like we'll just tell like original graphic novels that have those characters in those stories, but for the most part, like just stop. Like all those books are canceled. We know they're just gonna come back. Like we know they're just gonna be rebranded and put out again. Like you're not canceling Batman and Robin. You're just putting out a new Batman and Robin at the end of the month. Like
that's kind of how I felt with like the Earth Ones that they've been doing, which are standalone graphic novels that lead one on to the next one.
Yeah.
I mean
and they're great.
Worse yet for those Earth 1 books. Those Earth 1 books are pitch books. Those are proof of concept. Those are script treatments.
Yeah, well, Superman Earth 1, the first volume, that's Man of Steel.
Like, that is Man of Steel alternative. Like
more or less.
I mean, the Teen Titans Earth one, I have to say, I didn't think they realized they were writing the Teen Titans.
They made one?
Yeah, they did.
I didn't even know. Yeah, I didn't know that.
I thought there were only 2 Earth 1s. That was Batman and Superman, and then they were.
No, they made the Teen Titans, and I'll give Faust. It doesn't feel
one.
like Teen. It's cool, but it doesn't feel like Teen Titans.
It was totally different. This like it must have been an idea that Jeff Lemire had kicking around for like a teen action series. It's like, well, I could make it the Teen Titans though.
Yeah.
And then like my whole thing is like, eventually like they will say, oh, you know, we're not really making comics anymore. But then I also say, eventually this superhero movie TV show hype bubble is going to burst, and it'll burst like overnight.
Then we all need to find new jobs.
I know, right? Scary. Don't say that.
Hey man, I have a job to go back to. Okay. So Sal talked about Rage Revolt. Okay, so Rick Remender did an interview with comicbook.com. And they asked him the question, point blank. All right, the question was, let's talk about the storyline for a bit, blah, 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 blah. How does Rage of Ultron tie into continuity? And he's like, it ties into the movie, kind of. Like, he didn't give a definitive answer. But see, okay, I get that it ties into the movie, but, you know, like, here comes a clue train. Apparently the last stop is Rick Remender. Captain America is not Falcon in the movies. So, I mean, I don't know what he's... So, Sal's probably right. It seems like it's probably set after Secret Wars because you've got Captain Falcon, like all new Captain America. So.
Well, it doesn't even have to be set anywhere. Like, it could literally just be an original graphic novel that doesn't have continuity. Like, people are they need it. Like, when does it take place? Like, it doesn't matter. It's just a story with these characters you know.
It was one of the 3 new Avengers stories that week that we got. A digital one, Rage of Ultron, and then I forget what the other one was.
Yeah, and none of them were their own. Like, all of them were their own continuities. Like, and you know what? Like, fine. Like, for me, I love the interconnectivity of the Marvel Universe. It looks like that's where they're going. I don't think I don't think it's going to be quite that, like, industry changing when it's all over, but I do feel like they're going to leave the door open for when they're like, hey, you know what? Like, this universe is its own universe. Like, and there's a Spider-Man in this universe, and there's an X-Men in this universe, and they're just not big play. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to be. There's no 616.
Okay, but
even though there apparently will be.
This is different though. I mean, it's not like they're doing like the Century, or, you know, like Marvel Knights standalone. It's not necessarily the case because one, you've got Marvel coming along and saying, okay, hey guys, like we're resetting our continuity to a degree. Like, some characters are going to stay, some are going to go. Their origins are still the same for the most part. At least it seems to be the case. Whatever. like we're just changing continuity, getting rid of multiverse, getting rid of universes, making things make sense, consolidating it all. At the same time, we have Age of Ultron coming out at the beginning of May. So the question is, when people see a story called Rage of Ultron, and it features cast members or it features characters from the current run of Avengers and New Avengers, and then it also is designed to address or to basically give us an idea of what Ultron in the film is going to be like.
Right.
With the exception of the fact that, I won't spoil it for those who haven't read it, but
everyone else spoiled it this week.
Oh, okay. So anyway, so the whole Hank Pym thing and, whatever. But the fact remains that people are like legitimately confused. When does Rage of Ultron take place? Is it post-Secret Wars? Is it pre-Secret Wars? Does it not have a continuity? It's one thing if Marvel came out and said, okay, guys, like there's no continuity here. This is just a standalone story that has characters. That's what they need to say it if that's the case.
Yeah.
Instead of beating around the bush, because I think here's what I think is happening. They're looking at Rage of Ultron to see the success. They're looking at Rage of Ultron to see how well received it would be if Ultron, or if Hank Pym was Ultron, basically. And the idea is, if it's successful, if people like it, that's what's going to happen to Hank Pym when Secret Wars ends. If it's not, then they're just going to totally get rid of it, and they're going to say, well, it's just a standalone story. That's it. Don't worry about it. And that's going to be it.
Well, and I agree with you. I think that's part of the problem here, is that it's blatantly obvious that because they're being so dodgy about it, they want to see how it's received.
Yeah.
Because what I think they don't want to get in bed with anymore, and why a lot of things are changing around. I was talking about this in a review that I haven't put up yet about Batman and Robin number 40. Robin got powers. Everyone hated it. And you could definitely tell that was intended to be a longer running idea and concept.
Took it away instantly.
Yeah, like, it got such a poor response that the story arc just immediately went, we're back to status quo. He's Batman and Robin again.
Yeah.
He only mentions it like one more time in the annual, like, man, I sure wish I had my powers now. And Batman's like, shut up, Damian.
Yeah, exactly. Don't even talk about it, Damian, anymore. In fact, it feels like he never had powers.
We're moving on from that. No one liked that. Yeah. And it's kind of what I feel like both companies are getting to a point where they don't want to definitively state something is in continuity anymore, because if it's not well received, they just want to be able to just remove it and just be like, Rage of Ultron standalone. So,
but isn't that just what they did back in the Golden Age? Have we just come full circle?
That's exactly what they did. There were
everything
no
is circular
back in the Golden Age. There was no real shared continuity. That didn't exist. Like, you had Superman stories, you had Batman stories, you had Aquaman stories, you had Wonder Woman standalone
and sometimes
stories.
They met each other, and sometimes they didn't.
But it was never a big shared continuity thing. Like, what happens in Metropolis is going to affect what happens in Gotham. That didn't exist. But then that all changed with the Silver Age.
So just kind of throwing this out there, if we come full circle, we're going back to the Golden Age. Everyone's kind of sensitive now. Everyone's all about political correctness. Yeah. Are we going to get another comics code?
Oh God, I don't think so.
Because if we come full circle,
I don't think we're going back to the Golden Age. I think it's more Silver Age, because Silver Age, when it launched, did this. A great example of them doing this initially was The Killing Joke. They put it out. And when it came out, it was not clear if it was in continuity or not. They were like, nah. And then it got so well received. Now Barbara Gordon's in a wheelchair. Go read Killing Joke, because that's how that happened.
Yeah,
that's true. And
the fact is, and also like the comics code was a consequence of like the government responding to a witch hunt. So and it was the comic book industry being like, we'll self-govern, like we'll deal with it ourselves. Since there's no like outside antagonist, I don't see them like really needing to do that.
Yeah.
And plus, like with comics being rated, like I think we're good. Like I'm not worried about censorship, in as much as I'm worried about like a stupid authority saying what to do. We're seeing that in as much as we're seeing like the Mouse House owns Marvel, so no one can smoke. Like we're seeing censorship in that. Like we're seeing like more like characters getting neutered or undercut, or like Spider-Man can't be a zombie anymore because his children might read it, and then like so. That's kind of what we're seeing, like self-censorship, as opposed to like comics.
I feel like your Fox News and that, it's more focused on kind of like video games now. Like everybody loves comic book movies, so I think this is just going to be left alone.
Oh, yeah. Comics are like old hat now, is the thing. Where it's just like, we could talk about how the comics are corrupting the youth, but I'd much rather talk about how the video games and the internet and the holograms are corrupting.
Well, not only that, but like comic books. What's the how much does that industry pull in? Not even a fraction of the video game industry. Yeah, I want to get in on some of that.
That's exactly. But no, like with the whole Rage of Ultron thing. To kind of finish my thought on this, like I really blame Joe Quesada, because there was a problem. Joe Quesada in like 2000 whatever it was said no more Marvel Knights, done and done. Like everything that shows up now shows up in continuity. And
that was his idea, by the way.
Do what?
That was his idea, Marvel Knights. Like him and Bill Jones.
But what I'm
Paul
saying
Bearer.
is, if they kept the Marvel Knights imprint, which were just a series of that like Inhumans Volume 2 was supposed to be standalone, like it's supposed to be just a self-contained Inhuman story, and they said nope, now it's continuity, and then it's Volume 2. If they had just like kept the Marvel Knights imprint and said Marvel Knights are strictly standalone stories, they could have released Rage of Ultron, slapped a Marvel Knights imprint on it, and nobody would have asked questions. They would have said, "Oh, well, it's standalone, cool," and that would have been it. And it would have been a cool story, and people would have read it just like they are now, but they wouldn't be confused about where it stands in relation to the movie or the comics or Secret Wars and all that kind of good stuff.
You know, I think it is too. Like, I mean, we're putting all this thought into it because obviously that's what we do and that's what people love us for. but maybe the answer is really simple. Maybe just Marvel's like, hey, you know what would be great? A bucket full of comic money to go along with this bucket of movie money. Ultron. Let's just put out a bunch of Ultron stuff all at once. Because we can't actually do it in like the Avengers books we have now because they're busy dealing with incursions and our reboot. So let's just put out a bunch of Ultron books and just we just need it on the shelf.
You know what the funniest part about this whole thing is? Like they named the new movie Age of Ultron.
And
they've already made that story arc.
And people who like that phantom group of people who go see this movie and then run to the comic book store and buy all of them who don't exist or is like 2%. Are going to go to the comic book store. They're going to pick up Age of Ultron. And they're going to go
super disappointed.
First of all, there's no Ultron in this book. Second of all, why is Wolverine going back in time?
Yeah, exactly.
It's unsellable. So they have to have a book called Rage of Ultron. It even sounds like Age of Ultron.
Yeah,
so people will just be duped and they'll just buy that graphic novel.
It's exactly what it is. Actually, I had a Twitter. I tweeted out that I'm reading Rage of Ultron today, so I get ready to get the story out for next week. And I had someone respond with, "You already did Age of Ultron." Like that is exactly what they're trying to do.
Gotcha.
I will admit, when I first saw Rage of Ultron, my initial thought was, so did Weird Al write his own version of Age of Ultron?
Well, and that's
my new cover band, Rage of Ultron.
I mean, that is 100% right. Like in Remender's interview, he said that initially, his like the title I think that he wanted to use was the Evolution of Ultron. And then Brevoort was like, nope, Rage of Ultron, call it that.
Yeah, no one's going to buy that. Yeah.
No one's going to buy that.
You know, with the level of I don't give a crap that they seem to be displaying, they might as well just called it Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
Like, I'm shocked they didn't.
I'm shocked they didn't call it Super Age of Ultron.
Right. New Age of Ultron.
I mean, going back a little bit, but also kind of linking this, we're all going saying like how there's different ages of comics. Could it just be like we're going into the new age of comics?
Well, that's the thing.
And this is just the I don't give a crap age of comics that we're going into.
Because I was just talking to somebody about this the other day, where I was talking about like gold, silver, bronze, modern. Heroic and I guess it's just been modern for the last 50 years. Like, you know, like modern art started in like 1918. Like, and now it has to be something else. Like, there's. You can't just call it modern because like then what's today?
The Zinc Age.
Yeah.
So let's dub the new age. Let's do it. Let's the weekly poll and our guest Mr. Sunday Movies and Joel.
We're gonna do
and Joel.
I call it
the new age of comics.
The weekly poll and Mr. Sunday Movies. What are we gonna call the new age of comics?
I think it should be called the event age.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, well, that's a really good. Yeah, that's great because it is. It's like this is a big thing that's happening.
Yeah.
Or they could call it that actually. They could call it this is a big thing that's happening.
Yeah.
The age where all the things happen and you guys will really, really like it. We really don't care at the end of the day. Just give us your money.
Yeah.
The event will ever be the same.
I would say the foil age, but that makes me think too much of like holofoils, like in the 90s. Maybe like the Zinc Age or something like that. Age of Zinc.
Let's go with event. I like that so far.
Yeah, the event age. Yeah, that's a good. That's
you know what we're gonna do? Whenever we pitch it, I'm gonna need you to give me a recording of you saying it just like that, Mr. Sunday. So every time we're like, "Welcome to the event age, go!" So okay,
what
so
about,
we talked
the digital age. Sorry,
digital age is a good one too.
Yeah.
But did digital change everything, or was it more just like digital?
Yeah, you're right.
I think it was digital because if you think about it, a lot of these standalone, the recent versions of them, because I mean we've always had standalone stories, but the more recent ones have initially started with, at least from what I've noticed, they all started as like, okay, we're gonna do comics online only. Online only, smaller chapters, and then if they do well there, they'll get a comic, and if they do even better, they'll get a book. And
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I
well,
would also submit the celluloid age.
I mean,
I was going to say the Hollywood age. You beat me to
I like
it with a
that.
good one.
we
Yeah.
can't call
So
it
the
the celluloid age because that sounds way too much like the cellulite age.
Yeah.
No, but I think the digital age probably wouldn't be the worst thing because if you think about it, like Comixology changed everything.
Oh yeah.
Like prior to
They certainly
Comixology,
tried,
it was
but-
like, well, I mean, prior to them, it's like, well, I got to go to the store and have people like, I don't even know where my comic book store is, and I'm not going to take the time because you're talking about people who want to know right now. Like if they can't find it in 4 minutes or less than that, in like a minute, they just don't worry about it.
I do.
So.
Well, yeah, you know what though? Think about this though. Does anyone still remember that local grocery stores still have a magazine section where they have comic books?
Yeah, that's true.
Wait,
Okay.
grocery stores in America had comic books?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Most people get their
No, we don't have
comics.
that.
Oh, dude, we got like full
I
novels
love when
and
things
everything.
like dawn on Faust. It's so hilarious.
Oh, dude, like yeah, man. I went to Kroger, man. Like I got some asparagus, I got some parsley, like I got some salmon, I got some scallops, and I got a copy of World War Z. Like you can buy everything in the grocery store.
I got the whole run of Bloodlines from a 7-Eleven once.
Oh wow.
Because like bookstores in the UK have only recently, like in the past 10 years, started selling manga. Like they still don't really sell comics, but there's like a section for manga because that's pretty big here. And even then, it's like 2 shelves. And they're like,
Oh, no.
look, our new expanded manga
Yes, all
section.
the manga that is, or ever will be, is right in these 2 shelves.
Speaking of the manga,
it's all Full Metal Alchemist and Attack on Titan.
Naruto.
yeah, Naruto's.
It's actually pretty good. Like they have some good stuff.
Okay.
Like Sailor Moon.
There you go.
Have you watched
Sailor
I'll take your
Moon
word for
says-
it.
All right, I'm going to take this as a moment to segue over because we are now going on officially an hour and we still have one more topic, guys. So, Mr. Sunday Movies, explain
Hello.
to us what's happening Friday.
Well, I don't know.
Other
what
than
do
you
guys
getting a
doing?
space shuttle and I still have to get you a muffin.
No, it's true. Well, Friday. Well, actually, it's Saturday for me. But basically, what it is, big event Netflix series. Daredevil is coming. 13 standalone? No, 13 interconnected stories connected to the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yep.
Yeah, all new Daredevil story. I'm very excited. Like I still can't believe that it's this week. Like it's crazy that
God,
I feel like it's kind of snuck up.
Yeah.
It
Like
is.
a
and-
Christmas present. We're all gonna wake up and open it.
I'm
know,
really,
right?
I'm really
Yeah.
hoping that like they tie into the Marvel Cinematic Universe tastefully. Like I wanted to focus on Daredevil, but I want to see like Matt Murdock in his office or like getting coffee or something like that, and like on a news blip on a TV screen, they're like Shield's in total disarray.
Have you heard
And
did you see the trailer where they reference them?
No, no,
Yeah.
I didn't see
There's
that.
a,
Iron Man.
there's a moment
Oh.
in one of the teasers where they say something like, "Well, you don't have like a indestructible shield or a magic hammer."
Oh yeah,
but
yeah. Okay.
You're like, "Oh."
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I just got done reading Daredevil Yellow today to get the video up for Friday.
Great story.
And half, I mean, not half, but a good chunk of that is him referencing other superheroes. Like him constantly stating, he's like, it'd be so cool if eventually people were like Spider-Man, Thor, Daredevil, you know?
Yeah.
He's like, you know, I know I'm not Spider-Man and Fantastic Four, so someone has to take care of the street thugs because they can't do it. And
The bit that I liked is where it's like, how are they going to justify this Frank Miller-inspired, gritty New York setting in a modern
Let me
time?
tell you something.
And the reason for that is that they said, "Oh, Chitauri invasion. That's why New York went to hell again after the alien invasion."
Oh, that's
So
right.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Let me tell you something. The
oh, go
moment. Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say.
You're fine. Go ahead, man.
Okay. There's a moment from Frank
for the
Miller's
record, I'm interrupting now because I just want to say that when you two interrupt each other, it's hilarious because you both get super apologetic.
Oh, excuse
I just jump in and talk, but you're
Welcome
both
to
like,
Canada
my bad.
Did you?
I'm sorry for interrupting, man.
Oh no, I was a little overzealous. I appreciate it. So the thought was, in Frank Miller's run of Daredevil, where the Avengers actually show up. I think that's kind of the reality we're gonna get. Where it's just this moment where Daredevil's beating the hell out of some guy, some informant, I can't remember, and then there's a fire going out of control, and then the Avengers show up. And they're all cast in shadow, and they just look like these intangible, like very incredibly disconnected characters. Like, and it's literally Thor, Cap, and Iron Man. And they show up and they like rescue everybody, and Daredevil's just beating this dude. Like he's just
Like you
and it's
do.
all and it's raining, and there's like lightning, and Thor's commanding it, and then Iron Man shows up, and he's like, "You gotta hand over the dude. Like you gotta hand over that guy. He's an Avengers like." He's under our jurisdiction. We gotta have him, and like Daredevil's like I could smell his repulsor starting to like fuse up, like they're ready to go. Like Iron Man's ready to throw down with me, and I'm gonna die. And I'm like, yes, I want that Daredevil.
That's amazing.
And I think that we're gonna get that, like, especially if they make it really gritty with Civil War.
Yeah,
with Daredevil.
absolutely.
I mean,
It's great to see something like a down in the dirt street level, just taking beatings every night and dishing them out. You know what I mean? Like, he's not like a guy who lives up in a tower and he has like coffee breaks or whatever, which is great. I love that
Butler
stuff.
won't be telling him like what the probability of his success will be.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he gets teeth knocked out and he gets like, it's just amazing.
That moment from the first trailer where they had that like intercutting, that like really frenetic moment where he's just like ready to go. He's standing outside the door, and then he just goes, "Dah!" Like he just goes in like he's out of like PCP. Oh,
like the Raid, like the Raid 2, which is like the best action movie of the last couple of years.
I mean, that was my big thing when because my big concern, like, I mean, to capitalize on what Sal said, like, for those of you guys who haven't read Daredevil or aren't too familiar with Daredevil, one, like, I have a video up about where to start with Daredevil.
I think we all will.
Yeah, Benny will have his video about Daredevil. Like, we're all going to have videos about Daredevil. Frank Miller's Daredevil. Frank Miller's Daredevil is like the defense. Yeah, if it's a contest, we can make it a contest.
That's it. Contest has been initiated. Who will have more Daredevil videos?
Contest. Daredevil
contest.
The war of the Daredevils is
Daredevil
on.
videos. Yep.
Wait, for the record, hold on. We have to state that Joel and Comic Book Cast are not in the contest because they have more people than us, and they will win by default.
All right,
got me.
This
I was
week.
Tell everyone.
And we also have to disqualify Faust because he uploads the least, and we don't want him to have to try and kill himself. So.
All right, so it's me, Sal, Benny, and James. Okay, cool.
I don't even know.
Okay, but
you watch. Like, now I'm just gonna pull out the best Daredevil video. It's gonna have musical numbers.
Transcendental.
Musical numbers. It's Daredevil.
We're all gonna cry at the end. It's like, that's beautiful. You moved.
Dancing midgets dressed as Daredevil.
Yeah.
Where do you live? Wonderland?
Oz. I live in Oz.
But no, for those of you guys who are not familiar with Daredevil out there and that are watching this live stream, which thank you for tuning in. Frank Miller's Daredevil is the quintessential Daredevil. Like anybody who ever says, what should I start with Daredevil? Immediately the answer is read Frank Miller's Daredevil and then decide what you want to do after that. Because Frank Miller revolutionized
Change your pants.
Yeah, I mean he made him dark, he made him gritty, like he made him like a character that was just down to the ground. And that's what I'm really, really hoping stays with Daredevil. Because my biggest fear here is Marvel saying, okay, like these are going to tie into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And somewhere down the line, whether it's a year from now, 2 years from now, or something like that, like Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Daredevil, Iron Fist, they're going to move away from like this gritty street level kind of thing. And they're going to move up to the upper echelons of the Avengers realm. And they're going to, be fighting alongside Tony Stark. And it's not going to be as dark and gritty as what we're going to get with the beginning of this series. I doubt it'll get that way. But that was my initial concern is how that would start. But once they said, like, we're doing Frank Miller's Daredevil, I was like, okay, I'm sold. Like, I'm so excited to see this because it's gonna be awesome. But
what's beautiful about that is that if they play their cards right, season 1 can be Frank Miller, season 2 can be Bendis, then Brubaker, and then you play it up like that. Every season is a new writer.
That's such a good idea.
And then you stop and diggle.
I want to jump in.
Don't do Shadowland.
Yeah.
No. And skip Kevin Smith too.
I'm going to throw this out there, and you guys can be mad at me all you want, but I'm not a fan of almost any Kevin Smith run on anything because
I like his Green Arrow, and I enjoyed his Daredevil. I didn't think it was like, oh, this changed everything. It was just kind of like, oh, it was fun.
I like the guy. I like a lot of what he's done. I'm just not a fan of his writing.
I like it more than his Batman's.
I mean,
Whiting Gyre, Jesus, boy.
Whiting Gyre.
I mean, I'd have to agree with you there, Benny. I'm just not a fan of his stuff.
Yeah, I'm just not a fan.
And every time I hear the name Kevin Smith now, there was the scene in the first season of King of Nerds where this girl was crying, going, "I know, stupid Kevin Smith. I know loads about Batman." I can't take the man seriously now because I just picture that every time I hear Kevin Smith.
I genuinely like Kevin Smith, but I feel like he's too much of a fan to write certain characters.
Yeah. That's
like he's so caught up in like, oh my god, I'm writing Batman, I can do anything. Oh my god, like, you know what I mean? It's just
look at my friend who can't draw to draw Batman.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I do. I like Kevin Smith's work. I like his movies. I like stuff he does. But whenever he seems to write a comic book, I always get a feeling of it would be like if someone gave me Batman and said, Benny, go write Batman. I would just be like,
I feel like he writes
exactly.
I feel like it feels fan fiction-y.
Yeah,
I feel like that's a bit rude to say, but it's
No, you're
true.
right. You're right. And I can hear his voice. I'm like, that's Kevin Smith dressed as Batman, like saying, you know what I mean? That's how I see it.
No,
and
it
again,
is.
I like Kevin Smith.
Every time that I read a Kevin Smith comic, I hear it in his voice whenever you hear him stand up and he talks about that Superman movie he was on.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
that's
I hear
incredible.
that voice coming through. Like,
Yeah.
When he talks about his anal fissure.
yeah.
Well,
So I do want to state real quick while we have a free moment. Faust, the audience would like you to start a Kickstarter to get midgets to dress like Daredevil.
Wow.
I'm gonna throw $5 in that.
What?
I got 5 on that one, dude.
by the way, I got.
I'll throw $5 in. Why not?
I am from New Jersey. I've met Kevin Smith a few times. Kevin Smith is, of course, great, and I would like to be on. I would like to be on Smodcast one day.
I mean,
and blah,
definitely.
blah, blah, so.
With Kevin Smith and his fantastic show, which is probably one of the best shows on television at the moment, and his superb writing and comic books, Kevin Smith, if you happen to see this, we would love to have you on.
We
Could
like
you
to
imagine
I
one of
just
these,
wanna say
instead of a
that.
goat head, we just have Kevin Smith's head in the middle? We got a goatish.
Yeah.
Hey, Kevin Smith loves Canada, so there's a chance that I might be able to meet him if he ever does that yoga hosers thing that he's talking about.
Okay, 2 seconds. Has anybody seen his latest movie, Tusk?
No.
No.
Yeah, don't watch it. Okay, any movie.
I deliberately didn't see it. I like Kevin Smith movies, which is why I didn't see it.
There you go.
I watched it. I'm not even gonna lie. I stole it. I torrented that one. I'm like, I don't want to pay anything because it's a man turning into a walrus.
Yeah.
I heard the podcast it was on. Like, I heard the story.
Yeah,
I'm
I
like,
heard that
oh, that's
episode
great.
too. I was like, well, no, don't do it though.
Yeah, I know,
With
right? It's
lots of
funny
crazy
to talk
stories.
about, but but it's not like, no.
My issue really is just he really let Zakaniri's failure turn him
Dictate the rest of
into
his career.
like into what he is now. Like his dependency on marijuana is so sad. Like it really like frustrates me as like as a supposed artist. Like I feel really bad for him.
And I need to be in a soft bubble with only my fan base. I'm not even going to screen my thing for the big mean critics.
I know
anymore.
his fan base is getting smaller. Like that.
Okay, I'm sorry, guys.
Gets
Like,
me.
I need to stop this conversation for a second and tell you guys, like, we're at 503 viewers right now.
One of them is
Let's
Kevin Smith, and
stop
he's really
bashing on
everyone.
Kevin Smith.
I mean, I just
No, that's a new record for us.
That is
a
a new record. Okay, I'm sorry, James. Go ahead. Continue your thought.
No, I didn't. I wasn't talking.
Let's move this back. Let's go back to our topic of Daredevil and get off of how bad Kevin Smith's life's getting. I don't know how we got on that topic.
I'm just-
but-
It's
and for
a dead
the
horse.
record, I don't feel bad for him at all because he's like filthy rich and
He's got
whatever.
a hot wife, so there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, his life's pretty cool. I mean,
Yeah,
like
it
he's his.
But move on. We're going to Daredevil. Go back to Daredevil.
we can't.
Sal,
fix
let
that.
it go, buddy. Let it go, buddy.
but in any event, I think that the Daredevil series, like Marvel launching the Daredevil Netflix series, more so than the fact that it's going to be dark, and I think is a great change of pace, because as great as the Marvel movies are, at the end of the day, they're starting to kind of grow a little bit stale, because how often can you really have some great big huge earth-shattering event, or how often can Captain America really go against S.H.I.E.L.D. before you get to the point where you're like, oh, okay. I mean, the
As
writing will be
many
good,
times
and-
as we need to.
Exactly.
I mean, the writing will be good, the movies will be great, but I love the idea, and this is what I think a lot of people like. I love the idea of street level characters. I love the idea of a guy that has a gun and his wits, and that's all he needs to be a superhero. And that's why I think made Punisher cool. That's why I think that Luke Cage was cool. I think that's why Jessica Jones she went through a lot of shit, but nonetheless, like I think she's seen some stuff.
We don't have time to get into that. That's a whole.
Rest assured, for those of you guys who were unsure about the Jessica Jones Netflix series, you will not be disappointed. There will be some.
I hope it's great.
But
There's
I
gotta
want to ask based on what you just said, because I'm reading a lot of Daredevil lately. Does he actually have a gun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, Daredevil?
Wait.
No.
No.
That's what I thought. I thought he had a Billy Club.
Daredevil has Billy
Club
Club
and grabs one.
grapples.
Well, no,
and stuff.
I mean, when I say like a gun in his wits, I mean just like your guy who's just
Okay,
like
no,
street level.
well, because he does. There are scenes where he has a gun, but I've always thought he grabbed the goon's gun.
He did.
No, I mean,
It's not like my trusty gun.
Golden Age Batman.
Little
No,
D, I call it.
Yeah.
he has like Daredevil has a gun. I mean, Matt Murdock has a gun. Like, I mean, they've shown it in the comics before. Like, if you go read like some of the Max imprints where he pops up or something like that, like he won't use it to go after people and like shoot them, like gun them down in the street. but he has a weapon.
I'm Daredevil, bitch.
Yeah, and just like chase up the criminals and
Wait,
just
you
shoot
should go gangster. Daredevil.
Zack Snyder's
He'll wing
Daredevil.
you.
I mean,
He'll wing you. He'll shoot over your head.
wouldn't that be like a crazy like a Marvel Max imprint where like you turn the page and Daredevil just like shoots a guy in the back of the head? I mean, it'd just be
Yeah.
Did
extreme.
you say I'm Daredevil, bitch? Like,
I'm Daredevil.
All-star Daredevil.
Who am I? I'm Daredevil.
Yeah, man.
He had to collect bullets with his Billy Club. He has done that.
They
Yeah.
should do that. They should launch it like all new, all different Daredevil, and just like he kills people with guns.
It's funny you should say that because like Mark Waid on the book right now, I get the feeling he knows his time on that book is numbered and they're going to change it to match the show. So he's like, fine then, I'm going to do everything I've ever wanted. He's going to have a suit and a Hollywood haircut and you can't stop me.
Yep.
But Mark Waid's Daredevil's not even bad either. Like it's
good. I enjoy it.
good. Like
I enjoy it.
Yeah,
it's
and
solid.
what if we take this poor character who has a worse life than Peter Parker and just give him like a half moment of happiness? Give him a little bit of something.
Daredevil
Or
is
editorial
so
snatches
sad.
it away to make it more like the TV show.
Yeah.
I mean,
Which-
the main thing that worries me about like all the TV shows going on to like more sort of a more realistic approach and onto street level, and I've been saying this for a long while. Most of the people that watch my show will know this. My favorite area in comics, as much as I talk about the Teen Titans and stuff, is like I really like the Teen Titans and they're one of my favorite teams. But my favorite area in comics is stuff like the Doom Patrol and like 90s Vertigo stuff, where it was just weirdness and it was dark, but it was
Existential.
But it was still like like it was still like it was very like magic realism where you're like, oh, like this is kind of weird. Like it's
like
like
it
a
was
cracked mirror
commentary.
version of reality.
Yeah, it was like commentary on our world, but it was weird as fuck. And you're like, the person that wrote this had to be twisted. And then I know for a fact they tried making a movie about death from Sandman. And they said they had to stop it in pre-production because they're like, we just don't know who this would appeal to because
No, it's true.
and they can't make a movie about death from Sandman. One of my
They
the
are.
most relatable character. They're not anymore. They
No,
canceled it.
they're making Sandman, so Death will appear. But I think they are
Yeah.
still working on. I think they are still working on Sandman.
Which scares me even more because
yeah,
Death was the most relatable character in Sandman. If they can't do Death, how the hell are they gonna do Morpheus?
No, it's true, and it's.
And I'm just
I love it when Faust goes in these rants because he's mind blowing up as he goes. He's like, how the hell?
Oh, but
is
how?
this going
See,
to
oh, wait a
work?
minute. See, look at this. Look at this. Somebody said you guys should do a 13-hour live stream watching the Daredevil series. I told you we should do that,
We
Benny. I
could.
told you.
And I told you I wouldn't.
I told
I didn't
Joel,
say it was a bad
Joel,
idea. I'm
Dude,
just
Joel,
not
man, you
doing
and
it.
me, you and me
Well,
will
if
do
we-
this. Like we
I'm
will.
down for it, man.
I'm down, dude.
What
I
if-
will hit you up. I'll hit you up on like Friday
Faust,
or
you want to
Saturday.
hang out with them for 13 hours?
what if we did it like because I was planning on doing like a 12-hour long charity live stream. Could we just
Oh.
merge it with
Dude,
that?
let's do it, man.
You guys
like,
should each pick a charity and do that. I say you guys because
should.
I have a friggin' job.
okay, fine then. We'll do it. We'll do it on Saturday, and like you can hang out. You can
Why
like
am
just
I
stop
getting
in or something like
volunteered
that.
to watch TV with you all day?
Not you. You said you didn't
Rob, I
want to.
have other friends.
Story.
I have
a million views and your 200,000 subscribers. You can just sit on a pole.
See, here's
I have
the thing.
things to do on Saturday actually.
Yeah, I'm kind of busy. I have a lot of.
Faust talking out. He's like, hey, here's how this is gonna work. So you guys are gonna, you and Joel, Rob and Joel, you guys can watch Daredevil for 12 hours. By the way, can we just flag it as it's super effective charity stream? I'll be not there, but
Yeah.
I mean,
That's okay.
yeah,
We'll have
I'm
a
down
Benny
with that.
cutout. That's what we'll have.
Yeah. Well, you know what
okay.
you could do actually. This is just us. This is literally just a weekly pull meeting now. But like, we could legitimately just do a live stream where it's 13 hours and people drop in and out. Like, just people
That's
pop in.
awesome.
Oh,
Yeah.
like tag team, like a tag in.
Yeah, like it's episode 4. Comic Storians coming in, or like episode 7. Here
Wait,
comes
dude, we
Comic
should
Cast.
do
Like,
that. Like episode. Okay,
can I be
so who-
drunk?
No, you can't be
I
drunk.
mean, like we really have no
Yeah.
control
We
over that. You'll be drunk.
keep it
about
It's
family
episode
friendly,
10
man.
and the comic story is a little tipsy.
Okay, look, you can be drunk so long as I can do this stream as I plan to do it when it's new in my robe with a big bowl of cereal.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's how I'm
yes.
gonna do
No, but you're only allowed to do that if you say nothing for the whole first episode.
It's just
okay.
you waiting.
And
Okay,
the light,
so
only light in the room must be from the TV.
okay, so Mr. Sunday Movies, are you down for being part of this?
Well, look, to be,
How is this
it
happening?
depends if I'm free, absolutely, definitely.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna be like,
I'm not going to
"Oh,
sit there. For,
Mr. Sunday Movies is sitting there like, God damn it, I just said I'll be on a podcast and you just volunteered me for 12 hours of Daredevil. What the hell's
now-
wrong with you?
And now we're all moving in together and we're buying a timeshare.
right,
You
I'm
get
just
me a
lost.
visa to move to the US.
No, like,
Faust,
we
you're moving
should,
in with Sal. He's got room.
we should like in all seriousness, we should do it. Like that's an awesome idea. Like I mean, I can start it whatever. Like, or we should just do it on Twitch or on the weekly pull hitbox, wherever it is we end up doing it. Like,
Rob,
we should.
I'm saying this as your friend. You need hobbies outside of comics, buddy.
Oh, I do have hobbies outside of comics. I'm saying like
TV shows based on comic book shows.
Like this, yeah, I just watch TV show. this is an awesome idea. We should.
For as long as I've known you, all you do is read comics and vape, man. And I think vaping's not doing it for you anymore.
Oh, it's doing it.
It's doing it.
You have
Believe
no
me.
idea.
Yeah, like dude, Joel, let me tell you something, man. Like ask Benny and Sal what happens when I don't get e-cig juice. So, like here's what we should do.
That'll be our post-show discussion for everyone.
Post-show discussion. Here's what we should do. I think Sal's idea is right. Like we should launch the live stream. And then the first hour, like somebody sits in, and then the second hour somebody shows up. The third hour, somebody different each hour, and then we just rotate.
Yeah, unless you have two people who are dedicated to do it. Like if you and Faust want to do like a charity live stream where it's like it's the Daredevil charity for like blindness or something.
Dude, I will watch.
Now Faust really has a charity. I think we don't know what
and Rob and Joel will be there for the whole 12 hours.
Oh yeah, I'll be there the whole
supposed
time.
to come in and
right, but other people will bomb in.
And Comic Book Cast is huge, so I mean, like, we've got like a dude in Britain and Australia. We've got people we can take the night shift and stuff. It'll be great.
Yeah, like we'll get this worked out once the show's over.
Anyway,
I'm
going to tell the story about Comic-Con and Rob not vaping.
No. We'll do that.
We're doing it. I'm going to tell the story.
No, we're not doing it right now.
Stuff early. Everyone's going to be like, what happened to the story?
Okay, guys, this podcast is coming to an end. We will catch you guys later. Peace.
I gotta close it. All right, guys. So as usual, thank you for joining us today. Today, if you were coming in late and you want to watch the show post after all of this, today we talked about Convergence, we talked about the new Daredevil show, and we talked about, what did we open with? Oh, Wolverine.
Yeah.
And somehow we ended up on Jubilee. I don't know how.
So we didn't tell you about the books you can expect from Convergence tomorrow, but that's okay. You'll go to the store, you'll find them.
We got halfway through that. We're fine.
like 100 videos about it.
So as usual, I'm Benny the Comic Storian. It's YouTube /whatever Comic Storian. Faust is It's Super Effective. It's yours is not It's Super Effective. It's like super effect. It's like
if you type in youtube.com/c/ it's super effective. It works.
Okay. Sal is now Comic Pop, not TV Little House, even though it still says TV Little House on Rob's Skype.
Hold on. What? Oh, it does. Oh. I need to fix that.
And then Rob, as you guys know, because you're on his channel, is Comics Explained, Mr. Sunday Movies, and Joel are two guests of the day who are not normals, but Joel rotates in quite often. Mr. Sunday Movies is welcome to. But Mr. Sunday Movies does great videos on all comic books and movies, and he does facts. One of the big things that I enjoyed on his channel was things you didn't notice in the trailer, because I didn't notice them, so it was fun.
Until all these things turn out to be not true, and then people will attack me. Like, that's what's going to happen.
Dude,
and for those of you guys who have not caught Joel on an earlier podcast, Joel is from the Comic Book Cast, a crew of like 20,000 people who talk about comic books every week.
We're basically the Wu-Tang Clan of comics. Everyone's a member, and you don't even know. It's like, I thought they were a member, but I
want to be considered like an honorary member of the Comic Book Cast.
Totally.
Wait, he's a member of the weekly.
It requires just that much.
I can be.
Everyone in the chat is also now a member of Comic Book Cast.
I like Bendis when he wrote the Avengers. Everyone gets to be an Avenger now.
I was gonna say, like, I've
by the way, like when they were saying
pull out. So like I've already sent him over to the entire Comic Book Cast guys. So
yeah. I love it
it's
when
like an Avengers card. This is the weekly poll. You know,
that free Comic Book Day book where like Kamala Khan is an Avenger and everybody, and they were like, guess what, everybody? Miles Morales is going to be an Avenger. It's like saying, guess what, everybody? Miles Morales and Kamala Khan are Marvel characters. Like, yeah, everyone's an Avenger, man. Moon Knight was an Avenger. It's over.
Yeah,
that's really how I felt. I felt like Bendis could have just been walking down the street, and he was like, "Hey, you homeless guy! Like, you want to be an Avenger?" He's like, "What?"
Guess what, Scruffy? We're an Avenger now.
Not really.
So yeah, everybody. Oh my God, I'm never gonna end this.
No, you're not.
You guys are getting back at me. This isn't gonna work.
It's the start of the 13-hour stream.
I'm gonna throw it. No. So like, have you guys seen that amazing sketch where Nick Fury shows up at the end of other people's movies?
Yes.
Oh,
He's like, well.
No, dude, I need to see that.
It's pretty scary. Ghost.
That's
what I expect. Like Nick Fury being like, "You're an Avenger now, and so are you." Tom Cruise.
All right. So anyway, guys, real quick, thank you all for joining us today. We will be back next Tuesday. Right now, Eris from Variant Comics may be joining us. We're a little unsure. His schedule may conflict. If that's the case, he'll come on the following podcast. But you can expect us to be here next Tuesday talking about Convergence and all the stuff. And if we hated or liked Daredevil, if we end up doing that Daredevil charity stream, I'm sure Rob will have it posted everywhere, so you'll be able to track it very easily. And for those of you guys who are wondering, all of us here, except for Mr. Sunday Movies, but he's welcome to be an honorary member, are a member of the weeklypull.net. It is a website for all of the comic book channels that talk about comic books. We have a community there. We have forums. We have our Twitter. Everything is up and running, and we would love it if you guys would go over there and check it out. Go to the weeklypull.net. It is right there. We rotate articles and everything like that. That is the
push for Convergence, by the way. Huge bunch of articles.
We got a huge planned thing for Convergence. It's going to be amazing. We want you guys to be there chatting about this in the forums, chatting with us. We all do go check there. Some of us more often than others. Faust.
I posted last week and I got one reply.
So, but yeah, make sure you go check out the website. Everything is looking good over there, guys, and we would love it if you come and join us. That is the Weekly Pull podcast, which eventually, when we stop being lazy, will move to a live stream service.
Yep. Oh, also, guys, those of you viewers, don't forget, as usual, you will find Mr. Sunday Movies channel down in the description of this video. So if you guys aren't familiar with him, which I don't know why you wouldn't be, but you guys should
that's crazy.
Get and check it out.
Now, before Rob can end the podcast, I'm going to explain what happened at Comic-Con and how we learned he doesn't work well vaping.
Oh my god!
So if you want that's it. We're done talking about comics. But I'm going to give you a 5-minute story. So
quit bitching in the chat about it.
Oh my god! If you really want to tell this story, man, just tell the freaking story.
I'm telling it. So me, Sal, and Rob are all at Comic-Con, right? Now, I go to a bunch of conventions. I've been doing this now for a couple of years. Sal goes to a bunch of conventions. Rob is not really that experienced. So we go to this first convention. Sal and I are kind of beelining doing the work thing.
We're huge, by the way. It's New York Comic-Con. It's like the second largest convention in the country.
I was not
I'm going to try it out. I'm going to get my feet wet with the biggest convention in the East Coast.
Yeah. So in Rob's defense, he did pick the largest one. Like, we all get there, and Rob's like, I'm just going to check it out. I'm going to walk around today. And Rob did not bring his vaping tools. He thought he could make it the weekend without vaping. Greatest idea he's ever had. So Sal and I go off. We start working. Rob gets like 2 hours into it, and he's now walked the entire floor. He's checking the whole thing out. And we now realize Rob doesn't do as well without vaping. Rob needs vaping to be chill Rob. So as the days goes on, Rob starts to get more and more irritable, which is now irritating me and Sal, who've been running around, so we're all getting irritable. Like, me and Sal are like, God damn, we're working our butts off getting interviews and crap, and Rob's just sitting over there, and Rob's like, go screw yourselves. I haven't vaped all day. You all can just burn in hell.
Rob smash.
It was rough. It was a very
So we get to the end of the entire thing. Everyone's on edge. Everyone's arguing. We're all still buddies, but like in a friendly arguing kind of way. We get in the car, and Sal's like, you want me to bring you somewhere to vape? You want me to go get you some tools? We can go pick up some stuff.
Yeah.
Now, here's the other half. Here's the other half of the story. All right. What Benny is telling you guys is just a world full of lies. All right, he's lying. To compound my lack of vaping, I wore the most uncomfortable shoes I could possibly wear, and so my feet were killing me. So here's Rob at New York Comic Con, 2 hours.
First con ever. I will give you that. First con
ever. All right, I'm a drama queen. Oh my god, my feet hurt, man. This sucks. Like I was, and then on top of that, I had no nicotine in me, so I was. If I were gay, I'd be a raging bitch. Like that's exactly what it was. Like I was.
Don't sell yourself short. You were a raging bitch.
I am kidding. It's the end of the first day. We're driving around. We're all trying to pick out restaurants to go eat. Rob gets in an argument with me about the McRib and whether or not it's a real rib.
He's like, they have the ingredients. I don't understand why they don't just give it to me.
And the kicker is, like, I'm sitting there trying to explain to him what a McRib is, and he's so irritable and so just in pain that he's just like, screw you, Benny, it's real rib. I don't care what you say, it's a real rib.
I remember that. That was bizarre.
Is it a real rib? I don't know.
No, it's not by any stretch of the imagination.
So he argues the whole way to the point where we're all arguing about food finally, and Sal's just like, I'm gonna find an e-cigarette store for you, Rob, and we're gonna go check this out.
Yes.
We get to the e-cigarette store. Rob beelines in there, and like, I don't know, you were like vaping in there, trying out stuff. Yeah. You were like lost and confused.
For like 20 minutes.
I was not in there for 20 minutes.
We were in the parking lot, like,
try it before you buy it.
We were like in the parking lot for like 20 minutes. He finally comes out, and he's like,
mind if I vape in the car, do you?
Yeah.
When he says
But-
that,
It's
after
vape.
he's already vaped like 2 or 3. He's like, oh, you guys don't mind if I do this, right?
Like in Dark Souls, it's like Rob just popped his humanity and he came alive again, like it was
Oh,
Dark
dude,
Souls.
it was, but in
The worst
hindsight,
part,
in
the worst part
hindsight,
is I'm just imagining like a gas tank and mask. Like,
oh, dude, it was intense, man. Like at that point, I was like, whatever gives me a nicotine fix, I don't care what it is, I'll take it. But but in hindsight, like I felt terrible on the way home. I was like, man, I just like totally like was a buzzkill the weekend.
He did apologize. I will give him credit for that. Like, and Sal and I weren't that irritated with it. It was the first day, and we both even said, I think, like, because I was getting a little more irritated than Sal was about it, because we both flew in to get business done, and I felt like I was the only one kind of pushing the weekly pull. And even Sal, he's like, it is his first con. I'm like, all right, yeah, it is his first.
And it's
one.
it's a daunting con. Like,
Yeah.
it got big real fast. Like when that show first opened, like New York Comic Con. By the way, it's been in the same location, Javits Center. Originally, they were like comic book convention, right? Like what? What are you thinking? Like 1,000 people will show up? It's only the biggest city in the United States, and it will only accommodate like the tri to quad state area. No, I'm sure that only 1,000 people show up. I think like 30,000 people showed up, and like they had it in one section. And they had like the same line for buying tickets as getting back into the show.
Oh god.
For the first year, and the fire marshal came sometime during the day and was like, "Your con is shut down. Like
Really?
no one's getting in or out. Like that's it."
Wow.
And Tiff and I, of course, like snuck in and whatever.
There
but, like,
you go.
but every year after that, they were like, "I guess we'll just get it bigger and bigger." And what's hilarious about that show is, the New York travel show used to be scheduled on the same weekend. And so they would share the space. So it was like the New York Comic Con and the New York Travel Show. So you had like Aunt Agnes and Grandma going to see like the latest hotspots in the Caribbean, and like Vampirella cosplayers.
They do the same thing in Toronto with Fan Expo.
Yeah, Fanis was huge. I want to go to that, by the way. But like,
It's a lot of fun.
because everyone goes to that, because it's like the only Canada show where all like the creators like, we gotta go to Canada. But
I missed Lemire and Dan's slot last year, and I kicked myself so hard that I missed them. I'm just like, no.
so now I want all of you to try going to these conventions, because the conventions are tiring anyway.
Yes.
But being cosplay, because you can't eat, you can't pee,
yeah, no.
No
I am
way.
you're in
working on
shoes
one.
that hurt.
I am finally going to be cosplaying for the first time ever.
I want to cosplay as the comic historian.
Yeah,
I can see it. You totally look like that guy.
you do. You need,
I
you
look
need a
really
little bit more
close.
crazy hair, though, I think.
I just did a
You also
Harley
need
Quinn.
more shirts with your own face on them.
I just did a Harley Quinn in Suicide Squad cosplay, and I was wearing these heels because it was like
wow.
drag cosplay. And I took the heels off at the end of the day, and my feet had literally been bleeding for I don't know how long.
Oh.
But I was like, and my performance was great on the stage, and I don't care.
I don't care what your feet looked like, Faust. I'm going to end this podcast here with the story of. So I was in the military. You ever do like a 30-mile ruck march where you got like 90 pounds in your back and you're just walking in boots, and then when you take your shock off, your whole bottom of your foot goes with it? There, I win.
But have you ever worn heels?
Oh, you got me beat. Did
I
not have
kind of
heels
got to
during
give
that.
this one to Faust right here. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'll give that one to him. Like I've seen some of the heels that people I don't understand. I'll just leave it at that.
Now,
I don't
Why
get
does
it.
Faust? I go 30 miles in boots. Faust wins because he has heels. I hate you all. We should end now.
All right, guys. With that being said, what does everybody have going? I guess we all have Daredevil going on this week.
Yeah, I got
Absolutely,
Daredevil.
yeah.
Got Powers coming out tomorrow. Daredevil coming out Thursday. Deadpool Thursday. Then it's Daredevil.
Yeah.
By the way, we all agree that costume for Deadpool looks awesome.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
We talked about Deadpool. Now you can put it in the tags. Deadpool! Anyway. You're welcome. So, yeah. I'm doing Superman Earth 1 for back
That's
issues.
Daredevil related.
Cool.
Here's the funny thing. Me and Armin rushed to get Daredevil Born Again out because I was certain you would have done that book on back issues. I was
know.
100% so. Oh, I gotta beat Sal to this. We gotta do it today.
Yeah, no. You know what's funny? With back issues, it doesn't even matter. Like, we did Civil War, like, episode 4 when no one watched us. It's like the second most watched episode, and people are like, I just watched Civil War! Like, they're finally catching up. Like, the names are... It's just so ingrained in, like, the search history now. Like, we can just do it whenever, as long as it gets done.
Yeah, well, that's how I did with my Civil War. And for the record, I do the tentpole programming where like, oh, Daredevil's coming out. I can find stories about Daredevil I enjoy, and I do that. But at the same time, the same exact thing as Sal. Like it doesn't seem to matter.
The other thing, yeah, we did Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 Space Avengers like the same week Guardians of the Galaxy came out. Made absolutely no difference.
But we'll all need to coordinate and talk about what Ultron stories we're going to do as it gets closer to Ultron. Because I can bet you that the story me and Armin is doing is like you guys wouldn't even think of this story.
Is it the Daredevil versus Ultron?
Guys.
Because you could do
we don't
that.
need to go into another topic.
Everyone's mind.
Mr. Sunday Movies. It's like 1 a.m. for him. He's probably trying to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Like,
You got to watch out for those drop bears and everything. I understand.
That's it.
By the way, they're not
No,
real,
it's 10:30
right?
in the morning. No, they're not real. Well, we think.
The Sydney
I mean,
Council.
we always keep Faust past his bedtime anyway. But Mr.
I mean,
Sunday
I
Movies.
don't understand. I don't understand how like I couldn't live in Australia because like my thought, like here's my depiction, like here's my view of Australia. Did you guys ever see like After Earth with Will Smith?
No.
Where they went back to Earth. They went
Why
back to
would we
Earth
watch
and he told his son he's like everything on this planet has evolved to kill people.
To try and
Like
kill
that's
you.
Australia. Like everything in Australia has evolved to kill humans, and so
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Plus, like the inflation there is terrible because don't you guys pay more for everything in Australia for some
Pretty
ridiculous
much,
reason?
yeah. Pretty much, yeah. And the dollar's like, well, the dollar's not that strong compared to the US and all that, but
Yeah.
it's fine. We have great bread. No, I don't know.
And you guys just got Netflix just recently, just
we
in
got
time for Daredevil.
We got the worst version of Netflix though. Like it's
Yeah,
the most
you did.
watered down. Yeah,
Even
fuck
your-
that.
Even your adorable indigenous animals have chlamydia.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Chlamydia always sounds like a fancy name to me.
It's not.
no. I mean, no.
But
no,
it's
it's-
no,
about
it's an antibiotic.
chlamydia, Faust.
I mean, I swore off ever going to Australia when I was watching a documentary on the Discovery Channel with I think Steve Irwin before he died, and he was like, "Today we're gonna go look for like spiders in Australia," and he was like, "The one we're looking for is like the mother of all spiders. When its legs are spread out, it's the size of a dinner plate." And I was like, "You know what? I'm never going to Australia." Ever.
Click.
For
No.
any reason.
You guys want to know about the weirdest place? Doing research for one of our list videos about scariest places. There's an island of snakes. Every 5 feet, there's another snake, a venomous snake.
Ugh.
That's a bad island.
I've been to Australia twice. First time I went there was for a swimming contest with my school. We were on the beach. My teacher stood on something. Still to this day, we don't know what, but they had to be rushed to the hospital.
Yeah,
No.
could be, yeah, that's probably
Everything
jellyfish, maybe.
I don't know, but everything
Yeah.
tries killing you in Australia.
Yeah, I mean, even in the
Even the
water.
people with goat heads.
Yeah, I mean, you guys,
Especially those.
isn't like Australia like has like the largest percentage of great white sharks like swimming around?
Something like that, yeah. But like,
Yeah.
apparently, you're likely to be like trampled to death by a cow than like by a
So
shark.
basically,
Yeah.
Mr. Sunday Movies could die at any point,
Oh, yeah.
any day.
And
Yeah.
the worst part is, if you say to an Australian person, "Oh, what, aren't there sharks in your beach?" Like, at least when you're at the beach, they'll say, "No, it's fine. We've got nets up."
That's not actually true. That's just what we tell people. There are no nets.
Oh my god, really?
It didn't make- See, it didn't make a difference for me either way because I
Yeah,
was thinking
exactly,
if
yeah.
nets worked, you just wear tights when you were swimming and it'll be fine.
Like,
All
it's
right,
just a-
guys. I think at this point now we're
Okay.
just breaking down to what's going to kill you in Australia. So I think the podcast.
this is the Faust effect. I talked about that during Scott's podcast.
Faust effect.
I talked to him about that. He was like, I talked to him. I was telling him about Faust, and I was like, I don't know what it is, but every time Faust is on the podcast, like somewhere along the line, the discussion moves from like our topics to like total pandemonium about everything.
But if you watch, I watch back because I'm paranoid about that. It's never me that starts it. So I don't know.
No. But the difference is we will start tangents, but we'll end them. But like we'll be like, let's talk about haggis for 2 seconds, and you're like, haggis. All right, so.
No, the chat does that, and it's
Chat, and then you guys mention the chat because I never look at it.
Oh, I look at it all the time. The chat goes crazy. It's hilarious.
Well, but right now, currently the chat's blowing up about how bad Australia is, and they would like you to make a Australia can kill you explained.
Explained,
watch
so let's just end this now.
Yes, let's go ahead and end this podcast.
Faust effect explained. Why do they want everything
We just explained it.
All right,
You know
guys.
what we should start doing? Hold on. We should start doing this. I'm going to say it. For everyone asking for Faust effects, what you should start doing, Rob, is just piecing that segment out of like, oh, they wanted to explain. Well, here's in the podcast when we did it. You just put it into another video.
Hey, if Faust ever did a podcast, I think Faust Effect is a good name for a Faust-centric podcast.
That is awesome.
You're gonna have 4 copycats in the chat.
Yeah, as they Faust, go lock that down now because the last time we mentioned a potential name, it got taken in like in 10 minutes.
Of course.
Yeah.
Freaking internet, man.
All right, guys.
Faust
So we're gonna end this podcast before we go too far.
Are
off.
we? Are we really?
Yes, we are. Like for the 4th time.
Hey, for
gonna
the
end this
record, guys, I got a great story to tell you guys about hookers and Taiwan. You want me to do that now or later?
That's awesome. That's an awesome
It'll be amazing.
post-show discussion. That's what that is.
I have one too, but it involves Scott Lobdell, and I'm not allowed to tell that one anymore.
Oh yeah.
All right. Anyway, so we all have Daredevil coming out this week. So yeah, I guess we'll go ahead and call it a day.
We all don't. Faust doesn't.
Faust doesn't. Whatever.
I have Teen Titan stuff in my usual stick.
Okay.
And
We
no fear.
will catch everybody later. Peace.
Bye.
Yeah.